Damascus ring. Bump under skin. ... Transfer accept. Tempera paint. Club car wash. Shine down. The Kirby pair eyewear. Koenig wheels. And if you go I1... ... What is midodrine used for? Kaleidosmoke. Green, I'm assuming grass, ... Registration. Banner. KB 20-gallon air something. Okay. Methylphenidate. Member information. McBride Homes. DFW AI podcast.
Listener discretion is advised. Listener discretion is advised.
You are now free to clog your ear holes. Clog your ear holes.
Credit-wise from Capital One. Track your package. Moon phase September. Download the app. Stream Fortnite. Scrubs. New message. Account login.
Okay, I think
Store
no,
detail.
they've got the point. This is don't fucking worry about it. And they're not fucking worried about
going
every single tab.
And that was 20 of the now 324 tabs I have open.
Every single tab in your Safari.
You're the one who told me to.
Anyways, don't fucking worry about it. That one across from me,
Hello.
just giving off very
My eyeballs
Cocker
hurt.
Spaniel vibes right now
Now my eyeballs hurt.
with the hair.
No.
Yeah.
It was the weed you didn't smoke last night that
Yeah.
made you have a coughing, laughing fit.
I don't know what was in the TikToks. But
I don't
they
know what
had me
spewed
laughing
out of an
so hard.
orifice, but
It hurt.
This here to my left. What? What?
He's using the force to open
To
the
do
window.
what?
Open the
Motherfucker,
window.
I'm not getting up right this second. Before it starts. Speak if you want it open. Anyways, here to my left is...
desperately looking for her monster.
There we go. And I'm sure you guys will hear from Ghost here shortly. I am Van, not Dan.
Vamberham.
Not according to that license plate.
Quite literally, went to get a prescription yesterday. Mm-hmm. Drive-through window. What's your social? Got it. Okay. All right, Dan. Motherfucker, you read it. I didn't even give you my name. You read my name, V-A-N, and you still said Dan.
They probably thought it was a typo.
This lady, he called the managers about this lady.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I did not.
You did too.
I did not
You
call the
totally
managers.
did. I was sitting there.
I said I was going to call the
You
managers.
totally did. I sat right there and I listened to
You're
you.
fucking
You said,
stupid.
"Listen, I got this new medication, and it's a different color."
Oh, I did do that. I did that. Well, hey, you know what? They're not impervious to fuck ups, okay? And the last thing, because there were supposed to be two prescriptions there.
Clearly, they fucked up your name.
One's an antibiotic for a hole in my abdomen that we'll get to in a moment, and it's not a pussy.
I think we've talked
The
about
second one is, my meth. And my meth comes in pink. And currently I have green meth.
That's not acceptable.
Well, well, actually, it's blue meth. It's just green through the bottle. So I initially thought it was green. Then when I opened it, but that's all fine and well. But isn't like letters and numbers to describe a medication not exactly the manufacturer?
What do you mean?
Like the numbers and letters on a pill itself, doesn't it like give you what that medicine is? It isn't specific to manufacturers.
No.
No.
Is it?
Can so if it has a code on it, like my Buspirone says Tiva on the back because that's the manufacturer. It's a small, round, white scored pill, And that's the only small round white scored pill that has Teva stamped on the back of it that particular manufacturer makes. And I think it has some numbers on the other side, but
I would be okay if a manufacturer was able to use like a letter or a number like an Aven, but you would think that the rest of the numbers and letters would somewhat line up, so you knew like, hey, this is this medication. This letter indicates the manufacturer of that medication. But all that shit was different color, different letters, different numbers.
well, I'm pretty sure the numbers and stuff that, like the identification of the pill itself, the bottle that, like the bulk supply of that pill will have a description and or picture of what the little pill is supposed to be. In fact, it might even be printed on your...
The picture is not, but there is a there down
should
here.
be a description.
I mean, sort of, kind of.
Small blue capsule.
No.
Walmart has it on it.
This one just has NDC and then numbers and stuff that only half of them coincide with the pills in the bottle. So, yeah, I did call him about that because I was like, I wonder, since they filled 2 prescriptions, if I just got the one I didn't want, the anti-germ one.
The antibiotic.
Yeah. So I called to double check that. But I was joking with him that I left, that I want my money back, but I'm going to keep the medicine because you fucked up my name. Like, I just don't understand the correlation with, like, you see my fucking name written there and you still call me Dan.
Like I said, Van doesn't necessarily click as a name in people's heads.
However, if it's on the prescription bottle, even if it's a typo, it's illegal for them to give it to you. So if they thought that it was a misprint,
I don't think they thought it was a misprint. I don't think it just clicked in their head. They
Should
read
probably-
it as they probably.
Well, that's a
read it as
problem. They're
Dan.
handing out medication. You better be clicking in your head a little bit better than you are.
They should.
I
think
will
it
agree
click-
with that point.
I think it just clicked in her head that it was Dan.
There was actually a patient on the floor. She wasn't my patient. The other day,
Did you
we were
pick
just-
her up?
Nearly. She had commented, we were giving her a medication, and she commented about another place that she had been, one of the people being like, handed her medication, and she was like, this doesn't look the same. And her response to it was something along the lines of, yeah, they change so much and so often. I don't even know what I'm giving people anymore. And like, I know how she meant it. She meant it as like a joke. And I discussed this with the patient, but she was like, that made me not want to take it.
Yep. If I heard that, I'd be very worried.
Yeah.
Fuck that! I'd just take it all.
I was like,
And then sue them.
look, she wasn't wrong. They do change these things. We'll go into the Pyxis and go to take out a medication, and there will be 2 different shaped, colored, sized pills
But
that
they're
are
the same
labeled as
thing?
the exact same thing. And it's because of the manufacturer.
Yeah.
And
There
that's
should
what I
be like
explained to her.
a requirement that everything should be manufactured
Standardized.
the same. Yeah, standardized.
Well, part of that has to do with like the pharmaceutical patents, because just like everything, they can't be
money
the
grabs.
same. And like when we were all taking methylphenidate, there was an off-brand that did have identical pills to the like manufacturer. And after doing some more research, after he was having issues with a different size, shape, colored methylphenidate pill, after doing some research, I found out that that identical off-brand one was actually manufactured by the company that holds the patent to the name brand.
Oh.
It's one more reason why our medical field is so wonky and annoying. But that patient went on to be like, I just don't think that she knew how to do her job. Like, she said that she was new, but she had to ask someone for help with like everything. And I was like, hey, hang on a minute. I'm going to give you a reason why. That's a good thing. And she was like, why? And I was like, because what if she hadn't asked anyone for help ever because she was afraid she would look like she was incompetent or new? Then
Yeah.
potentially she could have messed up your procedure or whatever it was that they were doing, and that could have led to patient harm. Like, it might not look great that someone asks for help all the
I'd
time,
rather.
but yeah,
Yeah.
until they feel comfortable knowing the process of something. at least having someone there to watch them and make sure that they're doing it properly. And I told her, because she wasn't my patient, but I had helped several nurses who had her. I'm like, I ask people if I'm doing something right all the time. Like, there will be something that I do by myself for days on end, no issues. And then suddenly my brain's like, is this right? And it will be. It's just, I feel more comfortable making sure someone else can confirm that I'm doing something properly versus just hoping that I am.
What?
You're being a bitch.
He's crunching into the mic.
You muted me.
Oh, my bad.
You dumbass.
I was just playing with the mute button to fuck with Ghost here because he's crunching in the
I went
microphone.
to respond to Alyssa, and I was like, I can't talk.
My bad. My bad.
Now I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say, like, asking questions. Like, I have a pretty easy, standard, like, truck driving job. They load me, I take it, and then I dump it.
For the
But-
record, she's a professional.
Bruh.
But
That's so loud.
I can't hear him.
I can't either.
I can. I feel it in the back of my fucking skull.
You're just being
Now
a
I
bitch.
can because
Yeah.
I'm listening for it.
No.
Yeah.
Just a little
That's-
bit while you eat. Because we'd like to keep our listeners.
Oh,
And while it's
they
cute
like
and fun
it.
to do it occasionally, throughout the entire podcast is pretty distracting.
I've done it for like 45 seconds. You're being a cunt.
That's fine. I'm allowed to be a cunt. Don't fucking worry about it.
You're not.
He's a cunt with control.
But every now and then, like, you know, the simplest of things, like, how much tread should I have on my tires? And I'll be like, wait, do I need to change my tires? And then the boss guy will be like, yeah, they're bald. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, but I'm going for racing.
And that's where being a truck driver becomes difficult, and you're supposed to pay attention to those things, Callie.
I do. No, I was exaggerating with bald. But, like, there's just, you know, simple things. Like, I ripped a mud flap off the other day because I got
You're
stuck in the
buff
mud.
since
Yeah.
you've been working out. And
Yeah.
you're just like, I wonder if I can rip that off there.
And I did.
And you're just, "Ugh!"
with her
But
teeth.
it was like, I couldn't fathom how to put it back on because it was ripped. So I was like, well, I can't put it back on because it'll just fall back off again. And I was like, and I don't have another mud flap. So then I asked one of the guys, I was like, what should I do? Can't think. My brain isn't working. He was like, just move the bolts over and then you can make new holes. And I was like, all right. And then I was like,
Or because you're so buff, you could have just forced it on there, and it would have like fused to it permanently.
just sit there and rub my hands
No,
on it.
just push it together. Maybe you can correct me on this. It's been a while since I've looked into it, but isn't there a way to fuse metal together in the vacuum of space just by them two touching?
That's not something that I keep in my brain.
It's literally something only you would keep in your brain.
Now I gotta. Can you
Now
pull
I've
out your
told
phone?
people, and if it's wrong, I'm gonna be pissed.
My phone's almost dead.
Okay,
And I have stuff
I'm
on there.
almost positive that's how that works in space. Is it's not.
I
Is
feel
it
like-
fusion
Weird, Callie.
welding?
Do you have an iPhone?
No, I feel like that shouldn't. What?
You have an iPhone?
Yeah.
It's like we don't have 500,000
I know.
chargers.
I just didn't feel like reaching around to try and find one. But I feel
You
like
always
that's
feel
not
like
true.
a reach around.
Wow. I feel like that's not true because like all the what is it called? Trash in space, like orbiting stuff. Wouldn't it start fusing to the space stations?
It does.
How have I never heard of that then?
She's looking it up. I just want clarification on it. But I know there's something to that matter that in the vacuum of space, if two metal objects are pushed together, they become permanently fused
That
together.
also doesn't make sense to me because like in space it's so cold. Like if
That is false.
no.
Yes, space is not cold.
It doesn't have a temperature.
Thank you.
Depending on what you
Parts
Google
made
on.
of the same type of metal will stick together in space fairly easy. The atoms in each part have no way of knowing they are separate pieces in a vacuum, so they stick together. How the fuck do they know they're separate pieces not in a vacuum? They don't have brains.
Well, in
How do you know?
in oxygen, they have brains. Out in space, they're brain dead.
Like humans.
Yeah, we're in the middle of something. No, what the fuck, man? Can this wait? Thank you. No, see,
was
that's
a
what I'm
Delilah
talking
with
about.
an
Yeah,
overly
no, they'll
excessive
literally,
bow
if you
on her
just
head.
take two of the same metal and stick them together in space, they weld. Like, because there's nothing separating the atoms.
How long would they have to stick together? Is it just instant?
Yeah, I think so.
If two pieces of the same metal touch in space, they will bond and be permanently stuck together. This phenomenon is known as cold welding or contact welding, and it occurs in the vacuum of space. In this welding method, heat is not the primary element for fusing metals.
So it's not hot.
It's not hot.
It's cold.
No.
Theoretically, wouldn't be able to weld in space with a standard welder anyway,
No, you wouldn't.
because there's no oxygen.
Correct.
Even in a,
No.
even like in acetylene torch with your oxygen pumping into it, you wouldn't be able to.
Do you have a Stanley cup or whatever they are? Do you have any insulated cups?
Yeah.
So you know what it's insulated with, right?
Space.
Metal.
Literally nothing.
Space.
It's vacuumed. There's nothing in between the two metal walls. It's vacuum. That's why when that vacuum gets broken, the cup doesn't work anymore.
Well, it still works. It just doesn't keep things cold.
So
Brain just broke.
in space, there's nothing to dissipate your heat.
Whenever you said what's on the inside, I thought you meant like you open up the cup and you look.
Chocolate milk.
And you
No.
said there was nothing. I'm like, no, there's something in the
What's
cup.
the insulator in an
I
insulated
get it
cup?
now,
yeah.
but whenever you first asked, I was like, what?
Yeah, no, it's literally a void. Like it's vacuumed out. The metal sits there, and there's just vacuum sealed nothingness. And
So
because of that, there's no way for heat to radiate out of the cup other than the one spot around the top where it's molded around, and that's just not enough to dissipate enough heat. So in space, there's nothing to dissipate your heat. So you would actually not freeze to death instantly if you were in space without a spacesuit. Your heat would slowly radiate out of you just into space, but there's
Using-
nothing to touch to pull the heat out of you.
Using its own like pressure. My brain is picturing like a stalactite or stalagmite growing in a cave, like drop by drop.
That's
That would be
why
how your heat would leave your body.
that's why the Earth is hot when the sun's facing it, but space in between, there's no temperature at all that can be measured because the sun has to be hitting the thing for it to have heat to absorb that heat.
I mean, that also makes sense on why, like, if there's snow on the ground, it could be 14 degrees, but the snow is still melting.
Correct. Yeah. And that's because the sun's hitting it, it's absorbing that heat. So the common misconception in space is that it's freezing cold. No, space doesn't have a temperature. And that's actually where the idea of absolute zero comes from, is you cannot make something cold. All you can do is pull
only
heat
remove
out
the
of
heat.
something. So that's why there's an absolute zero, where there's no more energy in that object that's producing any kind of warmth as you've pulled all the heat out of it. That's where you get things like Bose-Einstein condensate.
I was getting ready to
So-
say, and then it can just fall through its container.
Quite literally, it breaks physics.
My question is, so absolute zero, so obviously our 0 degrees wouldn't be absolute zero. Neither would Celsius.
It's also a very delicious monster.
So we have negative temps. At what point, say we're using our measurement system, would it be negative enough to be no heat?
I think it's like thousands of degrees Fahrenheit.
At the point of absolute zero, our standard like Celsius Fahrenheit, we don't measure in that anymore. We only measure it in Kelvin.
I forgot about Kelvin.
Yeah, Kelvin's how you get to absolute zero.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, Kelvin is the zero on Kelvin is 0 degrees. There's no degrees left within
Kevin's
that
a pretty
object.
nice guy.
Kelvin Klein.
But
That's
She brought up a
Calvin, who's
point.
an asshole.
about absolute zero, like if you really want to get deep into this, I'm not going to do it on this episode.
I
But
think we've discussed it on a way prior episode.
absolute zero is an amazing thing where how many properties of matter are there, Callie? You got solid, liquid, gas, right?
I thought there was 4, but yeah, sure.
There's actually
There's
like
actually
6
7.
or 7.
Okay.
So you've got solid, liquid, gas, plasma,
That's the one I was thinking of, plasma.
and then what else?
I don't know. They're
The Bose-Einstein condensate. That's one of them.
They're so like not well known.
Yeah, and these are multiple different. So they took helium and froze it to near absolute zero within like millionths of degrees of absolute zero in this glass container, and it actually
This shows 9.
filtered through the bottom of this solid container.
We forgot about plasma.
I said plasma,
Oh,
and then climbed the walls.
You forgot about plasma.
I did.
It climbed the walls of it defied gravity. It just it acted like it had a mind of its own. And so that's a new state of matter.
And that's where Venom came from.
There are actually many, many states of matter.
Many.
So we've got liquid, solid, plasma, degenerate.
We're all staring at Ghost.
Fuck you. Call me a degenerate.
Gas, fermionic condensate, which I assume is, that's where Bose-Einstein condensate hangs out. Then there's exotic states of matter that include many different like variations. Quantum Hall state.
Is that the
which
state
sounds like
under
a
pressure?
college. I'm not sure. Don't ask me.
I was just learning about that yesterday in a video. I didn't get a chance to finish watching it.
And one I feel like Ghost will never reach is excitonium, because he always seems less than enthused. But hang on a minute.
That's not
Hang on a
true.
minute.
He was excited last
Motorcycles
night.
go vroom.
I was gonna say, he was excited last night.
Does that thing run
Yeah,
as it sits?
yeah. We'll
Oh,
get
nice.
there. Back
I
up.
was-
Blah, blah, blah,
I
blah,
did not-
blah.
It was one question. One.
Yeah,
What?
Y'all are the ones
I'm
who
doing
brought it up.
science.
No science. This is a podcast.
Hang on. Hang on.
Science.
Uh-huh.
Science.
You need to turn that up.
Okay. Science. That's too loud now. Okay. Just to finish up on this. If you know anything about like what's going on in the computing space and all this, if you're an individual who thinks that we have reached our peak in technology,
You are
or if you think
mistaken.
AI is the thing that's like going to elevate us to the next level, you're still a caveman living under a rock. Okay? I am a tech nerd. I keep up on tech news constantly through
He's a
several different media
professional.
sources. I'm not a professional. That's the beautiful thing about it is it's a pastime. But
that would be a hobby.
Is anybody in science a professional?
yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah. Quantum computing is the next thing. And a quick breakdown on what that is. We're still using computer technology from the first computer ever made.
Hmm.
Are you sure that it's the next step? Because didn't NASA just shut theirs down because it's dangerous?
So they're pussies.
No, it sounds like to me that we're not going to be pursuing this anymore.
Maybe NASA's not. NASA gave up on a lot of stuff. And then
I'm pretty sure
SpaceX
the
stood
government
up.
ordered them to shut it down.
Again, that's not going to stop because the U.S. government got their panties in a wad and the 80-year-olds got scared.
I'm just
Oh,
saying.
you're talking about AI.
Yeah, you're talking about artificial intelligence.
He's talking about quantum computing.
The government told NASA to
You better
shut
Google
down
that.
their-
That doesn't sound right. Quantum computing, the difference is so regular computers work on a positive and negative charge. They're capacitors. And that's where your 1 and 0 comes from. If it's got a charge, it's a 1. If it has no charge, it's a 0. That's literally how they've been computing from the get-go. The difference between now and then is in that CPU chip you have, there are now billions of those transistors, allowing it to do multiple calculations at one time. Quantum computing takes Bose-Einstein condensate and uses neutrons instead of electrons, and then it uses its direction. So it's not just up or down, it's everything in between up and down. And it uses its position to store information.
Okay, so the answer to this is the U.S. government shut down Google and NASA's quantum computer projects due to concerns about merging AI and quantum computers.
Okay, that seems really fucking stupid because ain't no other country going to be doing that.
Well, I feel like back in the day, a lot of countries didn't want computers to even be made.
Well, no, but here's America taking a step backwards in technology because, oh no, the 89-year-old shit his pants thinking about AI having a bigger brain than him.
I don't know how to take this article, though, because it doesn't have like a...
A source?
Well, the source is the art, like the publishers of the article, but it doesn't source any information from where they got their info, or it doesn't
Nice.
source any information about when this article was published.
Yeah, and
The only thing it says at the bottom is 2023.
IBM, the China, there's multiple organizations building quantum computers, and I mean, there's colleges locally here that have them in their facilities that are working on it. AI is not fucking AI yet. Can we stop with the AI bullshit? AI, the way you and I grew up as, was a sentient thing capable of self-fucking thought. Okay?
What was the little girl's name? Sorry, the little computer's name in Resident Evil?
Alice.
Yeah. I was thinking
That is not
Charlotte.
what we have, people. What we have is an algorithm that takes in information that we've been training for years. CAPTCHA, the thing that when you go to sign in something, it says, pick out all the bicycles. You're literally training AI to recognize bicycles.
Do you know why CAPTCHA works in quotation marks? Do you know what it reads?
I don't know the question, but no.
So CAPTCHA makes you pick all the photos with bicycles.
Yeah.
And most people think that it's, well, if I don't get the correct photos, like all of the bicycles, it's going to tell me no. But that's not actually what it's doing. It's reading the way you move your mouse on the screen, because no matter how like sweaty you are, how well you think you can line up those shots on Call of Duty or Fortnite, your hand will never move in such a straight line that the computer will think you're a computer. There will always be some variation to where your mouse moves on your screen that leads the computer to believe that you are human versus robot.
So if I set up a robot to move my mouse for me, do you think it would be like, you're a robot?
Potentially.
Potentially.
But it's
Stephen
also...
Hawking probably ran into that a lot.
Oh, you're also training it to know what a bicycle looks like. It's taking millions upon billions upon trillions of these inputs, and it's registering them as there's a bicycle in this picture, and training it to know
You know what really pisses me
how to
off,
see
though?
a bicycle.
I click all the ones that have a fucking bicycle on it, and it tells me I'm wrong. I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, same. Bitch, I know what a bicycle looks
Yeah.
like more than you.
Yeah.
And there's a sliver of the tire in one other box that I can barely fucking...
Yeah,
it's
why
like
don't you
one
be more
pixel.
clear? Why don't you be more clear, okay, on what you want me to select? Because there's obviously bicycle in this picture. But that's all we're dealing with is massive servers with collections of data. And then when you ask it a question, it sits there and searches through all that data for anything pertaining to that and then brings back its best answer from all that data.
And it's still not that good at it.
It's not that good at it. When I was in
And if it's
statistics...
Google, it just brings back the best data that it has been paid to give you.
Yeah. And when I had statistics, I went to, was that Chat GPT, and I asked it one of my statistics questions, and I had the answer. And it was like, it gave me an answer, I'd be like, actually, that's not right. And it would be like, oh, you know what? You're right. I forgot to do this. And I'd be like, yeah, you know, you're still wrong. And it'd be like, oh, thank you for catching that. I forgot to do this.
You're training
okay,
it.
but it's still wrong, Chat GPT. You still got the answer wrong. This is the answer. Oh, you know what? You're right.
Thanks, Chat GPT. I just failed my statistics final.
So much for that.
Yeah. But getting away from the sciencey stuff, we can do a whole separate episode between me and some nerds. Make it part of our new
Are we not smart enough for you?
Patreon account.
Are we not smart enough
I
for
didn't
you?
say we're not smart enough. It's just our main content doesn't usually revolve around science.
Said
Hang
we're
on.
some nerds.
I think we need to have like a backup and a discussion, because we kind of discussed this on the episode that we didn't post, but it goes back to I'm not going to change the profile picture on the account. And then I look on Facebook and it's a completely different profile picture.
Yeah.
Did you not? You weren't in the discussions where we let the people vote on which the next one fucking looks like, and then we put it up because the vote finished?
I was told that vote was for what we were going to be making into merchandise.
No, it was for a logo, if you read the post.
Why was the vote only like 24 hours long?
What do you want me to leave it up for a fucking month?
A week?
Our listens have shot through the roof because I'm doing work on this. If you want to do the fucking work, you can do the fucking work.
And that's
It's-
fine. But when we started this podcast, it was just supposed to be conversations that we would have sitting in our living room. And so far, that's what it's been. But now you're like, we don't talk about science in our living room. Bullshit, motherfucker. We don't talk
I
about
didn't say
science
we
in
don't
our
talk
living
about
room.
science. You brought up a whole nother topic earlier that I'm also trying to get to.
Okay, that's fine. Just slow your roll
He's
on, though. We
sleeping
don't
over
talk
here
about
talking
this
about
stuff.
this shit.
I'm fairly annoyed at this very moment.
You're always fairly annoyed.
He can't have his crunchy cereal.
No, I don't know what the problem is. Do we need to take an intermission break and beat the shit out of each other?
I don't know if you want to. It could be fun.
We're not supposed to talk about Fight Club.
God damn it, Callie, I didn't say anything about Fight Club.
You just mentioned it.
You just mentioned it. I just said beat the shit
I
out of each other.
reiterated.
Giving away our secrets. Anyways, the whole thing was to load that up. And then we talked about your buddy's logo that he's going to put in, and we're still going to put it up. Just because this one's up here now doesn't mean it's the final.
It's not my issue.
What's your issue? Air it. Let's go.
I said, why not leave it up for a week? Because I'm the one doing all this shit. If you want to fucking do it, you do it. What's wrong with leaving it up for a week?
Because we only
Rather than
have so
24
many people on there,
Yes.
and they all voted.
We only have 20, like so many people on there, but if you give it a week, that's more people to come in.
Mhm.
You know, people who haven't necessarily been listening for a while because they've been doing other things. Maybe, you know, I don't know.
The problem is nobody visits our page. They only get what comes across their newsfeed. Let me finish. They
was
get what.
coughing.
Okay, don't cough until I'm finished.
Fuck off.
They only get what comes across their newsfeed, and that's only going to come across their newsfeed for about 3 to 4 hours, maybe 24 if we're lucky, and then they'll get to see that. And I've been creating duplicate posts to get more interactions, but that's also messing with the data because multiple people are voting several times. So we've got the data we're going to get out of the people who interact with our posts.
Make a reminder post with the link to the original post.
Or share the original post, yeah.
Again, I'm the one doing all this, and continuing to send out these spam posts is also going to annoy people where they stop following our page or they
However,
silence
these
us.
are just like suggestions that you're completely blowing out of the water.
I'm not. Where
I'm
were
giving
these
us-
suggestions 2 days
Well,
ago when I was doing all
that-
this?
I wasn't
also-
aware it was going to be a 24-hour
we weren't
thing.
aware that it was a 24-hour thing.
That
I
and
was
also,
I literally said I wanted this launched before we recorded next.
launched.
With that, we could have waited until after this episode. We could have been like, "Hey, we
Yeah.
made this post."
so people
People
who
could go
do
back
listen.
and listen to the.
You can
this
still go
episode.
back and vote. The things are still up, and if it changes, it changes. But I wanted to add something fresh up there for now. If anything, this could be a trial for this logo. If people don't like it, if we want to change it, we can. It's not like I did something permanent.
No, nobody said you did.
It's gotten really great responses. Our listens have doubled just in the last 3 days.
It's gotten really Garrett responses.
It's gotten a lot of Garrett responses. Okay. We've got,
His name on Discord cracks me up.
we have a Discord now. Like, we've been busting our asses on this podcast. Callie and I have for the past 3 days.
Okay, what did I do? With the exception of yesterday, all week.
You've worked.
Yes,
Okay, so we're taking the time we have to make it happen,
and that's fine.
and we're sending out questions for people to answer within our group, and then we take with what we can those responses. I'm not going to take a month to launch something because I didn't have time to respond to it.
Look, my only point is try not to rip the soul out of our podcast for the sake of extending the podcast.
I'm not ripping the soul out of our podcast. The last
You got
episode
rid of
we-
our giant inflatable goose.
Yeah, that's a
it's,
swan.
It's not gone forever, first off.
Quan.
Secondly, we don't have that Quan anymore in order to do more photo shoots, but we can order one and do something else, okay? It's not
However.
gone forever,
However,
you ungrateful bastards.
fuck off.
Thank you, oh mighty masterful man, for doing all of this.
I don't think.
I extend to you my hand for kissing. Ow!
I don't think you need a separate
Don't hurt yourself, Kelly.
little
Oh,
episode podcasty thing for Nerdy Talk, because I think the real thing people like listening to is, you know, some of you two. I don't know about you, maybe you.
What?
Throwing in your intellectual things that you actually know, and then my that's wrong. You're wrong.
I think you sent something about that the other day to our group chat.
Yeah.
Something along the lines of,
Hold on. I'll find it.
yeah,
and
read
just
it off to
read
us.
it.
But anyways, while he's doing that, we do have a Patreon launched now. So even though we do this for fun, it does cost money, and we're not looking to get rich off of this. If you could just go in there, maybe become a tier member, even if it's just for a little bit, that helps us offset the cost of doing this
Just
thing
for
that we enjoy.
$1 million a month.
$1 million a
you too
month.
can make sure we eat.
Yeah. We did launch merch. This will be limited time merch.
It will be gone.
In
Once
24 hours.
yeah, before you even get to listen to this, it's not going to be available anymore.
I think that may have been the point Ghost was making.
Anyways, so it will be limited time merch. This is our logo merch. This is the options that we had for logos. Those who listen now, we're never going to release these again.
They will be gone
They will be gone forever.
unless we make one of them
Like
our
Fortnite
logo.
in the item shop.
No, even if we make one our logo, we'll do something
Until it
different
comes
with the
back in
shirt.
6 months.
Yeah.
These are
Our
limited.
logo is supposed to consistently stay.
Yeah,
on
and maybe
logo.
that logo will show up on a shirt somewhere or do something with a shirt,
what I'm
but that
saying.
logo will never take up
Like
the whole
that
front of a shirt
style.
again. Like this style, this
Yeah.
this rendition of these shirts and hats.
Boy, I really
This
hope
is
the
it.
quality's good on these.
And if it's not good, you message us. We will make it right.
Try to.
We'll do our
No,
best.
we will make it right. I
No,
will
I'm
make sure
saying
that it's
we'll
right.
try and make it right, and then we'll send out another one, and it'll be shit too.
But, I don't like using these services that we have right now, but at the time, it's what we can afford to do to make sure you have something to commemorate your listening, your dedication to the show, and your ability to help us out. Obviously, Ghost and I were talking about this the other day. Something we'd like to do is go to, like Linus Tech Tips does. He goes,
Street speed
he is Street Speed 707?
717.
717. They go to these factories. They make sure they treat their employees correctly. They make sure that the material's quality. They watch the printing being done. And that's who gets the money for the stuff that they order in bulk. Unfortunately, we can't do that right now.
No.
But the plan would be that hopefully eventually we can get to that point. And then I'd like to do stuff like these guys do too, where you develop something for your listeners that doesn't really exist out there in the world. Linus Tech Tips, he did his own screwdriver backpack that absolutely kills the rest of the industry and is very specific to what they're doing.
That or just
also kills your bank account.
make
But
something that we use, that we enjoy using, but make it better so that you could have something that's
Like
better.
a mic stand table
Socks.
with mic stands on it or
That'd be
something.
great.
like a limited
Yes.
edition Van dildo.
Ooh,
We
Do you
talked
remember
about
that
that.
suggestion?
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the plan. But we do have a Patreon account. We do have merch up on our website. You're a fucking bitch, Ghost. If it fucks with me, it's
See,
fucking with the
hang
listener,
on.
and especially when we're trying to put out there our shit.
back to the dildo. If we ever decided to do that, I wouldn't be able to look at our merch store. I wouldn't want to look at our merch store.
It wouldn't go onto our standard merch
No,
store.
you don't get to know what it looks like until you receive
Yeah, it's a
the
surprise.
package.
Oh, it's just
Pun
gonna be like
intended.
a
The
Yeah.
saddest
secret
little
packaging.
dildo in the world.
Probably.
Big.
But you know what?
Keychain.
You just stick it above your computer at work, and then hang your hat on it.
Well, what if we don't have a computer at work?
At dfwaimerch.com. You just stick your hat up on my dildo, and it's a hat holder at work.
Just a little video.
Just
Curves
hope
to the
it's
left a little bit.
taking its sildenafil that day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your hat will wind up on the floor.
So we got that launched. We've got Twitter. We're doing somewhat gaming live streams on the weekends now.
What is a somewhat gaming live stream?
So it's not going to be available to everybody. First off, it will be available to patron members. And if you're a patron member, you can get selected to actually come into the Discord chat while we're gaming. But those will not go out to be watched later. The video from those will actually be overlaid over our actual podcast. So that way you have something to watch while you listen if you listen on YouTube. Go ahead.
Can we also change up the games a little bit?
I mean, we plan to.
All right, good.
We were going to do virtual reality. We were going to do all kinds of games. But right now, Fortnite's what we have.
I feel like you've got more games on those fucking expensive ass.
Not that we can
running
do
computers.
multiplayer like we do and stream it. You also have to be aware that we could get charged for streaming some of these games if they do not allow that content to be
Yeah.
sent out.
Well, what I seen last night was just your screen. You guys could play other games while he fucking streams Fortnite.
That wouldn't make any...
He's saying he wants it to be like, instead of just seeing one person's perspective, he wants to see multiple people.
In order to do that, they would all have to have the software downloaded.
All right, you guys got
No, all you'd have to do is we'd have to stream to you. Like, we could stream to Discord and you could pull up the windows.
See?
And stream that way and just have like 4 streams going in a window.
Yeah.
I guess we could do that.
It's worth a shot, just a little brain
so
thinking
you can
idea.
see my occasional just hopping on my glittery unicorn emote that I do all the time.
Or me fizz jizzing on Alyssa.
yeah.
So-
do you want to see Callie Fizz jizzing on me?
You have to pay extra for that one.
That one's
Patron
going to be on our
members.
OnlyFans.
Okay, so I'm going to be in a different room with my computer and all screens off.
Don't lie.
No, I'm not lying. Anyways, so we're going to be doing live streams. There will be a scheduled release for that. Now, we are all living our own lives, doing full-time jobs. Some of us, a couple of full-time jobs.
My schedule changes right now.
So having a very set schedule with that is something we'll try to do.
Hard.
But it's not going to be easy for us. We will try our best.
If you want to know when we're streaming or doing anything with you guys, you got to keep up on the Facebook page.
Yeah, the
And
Facebook page, group, and the chat and Discord is where you're going to be able to keep up with all this stuff. So if you're not a part of that, just look up dfwai.podcast. What is our Discord channel name so I can give them that specifically? Because for Discord, you have to have the exact name. Can you look on
I thought you had to have
something?
an invite. It's DFWA.
It's open to anybody to ask to join.
DFWAI space podcast.
Podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you have the ability to Google, you can Google DFWAI podcast. There will be a link tree. It takes you to all of our socials, our Twitch, our merch
Patreon,
store,
merch.
Patreon, all
It's
that.
also all caps.
Yeah. And if you get in on the Facebook groups, then you can maybe get in on the private messenger. And then you can also, we get in there and do stuff all the time, post TikToks, joke around with a lot of our listeners, go about things that way. So, yes, if you do see the pictures up there, please go ahead and throw out your vote. I did change it. It's not permanent, but it's gotten a pretty good response so far. If you want to submit your own, we would love to see those, and we can put it up against the final contenders. And then whichever one wins. But at the time, the merch store that we have, I'd say maybe 60 to 90 days is what you've got to order that.
We'll
that
play it
gear.
by ear.
Yeah. I wouldn't see it going much over that, though.
I mean, that's fine. And if you miss our original logo, just comment hashtag bring back Guan.
Yep.
Let's all
GWAUN.
what?
Bring back what?
Guan.
Oh, the goose swan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good Lord. We don't own that hashtag.
We do now, motherfucker.
People are going to be like, Guam? Bring back Guam. Guam's still a thing.
No. Spell it correctly. I spelled it for you.
Guan, like Gwen, but Guan.
Do the Guan.
Guan.
Hit the Guan.
Hit the Guan.
Hit the Guan.
Yeah, I like that one. Hashtag hit the Guan.
All right. So something did happen last
Hold
night.
on, I have a quote.
Okay, go ahead.
Arguing with me is pointless. I knew I was wrong 10 minutes ago. I'm just trying to piss you off now.
Yeah.
Yes, that is what you exist to do.
Yes.
Yes. Now, I'm trying to get to your fucking exciting thing
I'm not
that
even
happened.
the one who wants to bring it up.
I do.
Oh, do you not want to talk about it? Are you
Too
sensitive?
late now.
Well,
too late
you
now.
can blame Alyssa.
Pardon?
You're the one who brought it up earlier.
All I said was motorcycles go vroom because motorcycles are something that gets him
Off.
into the excitonium state of matter. Callie.
What?
I've seen some pretty nice looking bikes.
Do they have dildos on the front?
Don't worry about it.
Can we do that?
Can we make an exhaust pipe that's just in the shape of...
I want to get a
Yes,
clear
please.
dildo.
Yes.
You gonna pay for it?
I want to get a clear dildo, and I want to drill little holes in it, and then run fiber optics through it, and then just put that on one of those little spinny colory wheels, so that way it just like glitters while he's riding his bike.
See, what you should do is make it like get the white light strand and have it, coming out of it, literally coming out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that on top of the thing I'm talking about, and then have it to where it like looks like it's shooting out.
None of this
Yeah.
is happening.
Oh, come on.
okay. Fine, on your
Not while
helmet.
you're awake.
None of this is happening.
Unicorn horn.
None of this is happening.
A unicorn horn on your helmet that jizzes.
You can do it to my car.
Magical
Deal.
Mayonnaise.
unicorn mayonnaise. What was that?
No, it's just magical mayonnaise.
Oh, magical mayonnaise.
That's how you make babies.
What happened last night though?
Well, I nearly almost got hypothermia.
You did not, you pussy ass bitch.
Oh, like you weren't hurting too.
It's not hypothermia you're talking about.
Pretty sure I almost got hypothermia.
Nope, frostbite maybe.
Maybe that. Same thing.
It's really not.
That one
couldn't
only
feel-
took 30 seconds.
I couldn't feel 4 fingers.
Yeah, that's not hypothermia.
Frostbite.
Oh God, I got hypothermia on my fingers, guys.
No.
I think I'm gonna lose them. That's
I could have, and you wouldn't even have cared
How?
In his defense.
because we were outside for like an hour and a half trying to get a motorcycle started that I bought last night.
In his
Oh.
defense, it was your motorcycle.
Yeah, but he
It
wouldn't
wasn't
have cared.
his responsibility
He
to
wouldn't
care.
have cared. It is his.
We're out there for you.
I know I'm not his best friend, but we are friends nonetheless, okay? He should care. I would care about his fingers.
He was
His
so
fingies?
he was so giddy on the way down there. I can't remember verbatim what it was. It was either, man, I wish anybody but you would have gone with me to get this, or I'm glad I get to share this bonding experience with you. It was one of those two.
It was the first.
But this is his first ever motorcycle. I mean, the guy was really nice when we got down there. We tried for a solid hour to get it to start. Ended up going to, did you know, Dollar General sells starter fluid.
Yes.
Nope, didn't know that.
Got
Maybe
Dollar
they sold
General
more.
starter fluid. It took more than half the can because it's Dollar General
Sure
starter
took the
fluid.
whole can.
But
Should've
we
just
did
gone
get it
to
fired
the
up.
medication section and gotten isopropyl.
Him's got a Suzuki GSXR 750.
Nice.
Nice.
03. Gorgeous pulled apart bike.
Yes. You can really see the innards of it.
Plastics.
The plastics are in great shape though.
Are they?
Oh yeah.
There's a crack on 2 of them, maybe.
But
And the only reason it's pulled apart is because the guy was literally pulling apart to fix the cracks and repaint it.
yeah, it's a nice bike, and he got a good deal on it. But we made a discovery on the way out to get this bike. Do you think there are more Walmarts, McDonald's, or Dollar Generals?
Fucking Dollar Generals.
There's Dollar General everywhere.
Well, there's also McDonald's everywhere.
But
Leesburg has a Dollar General now, not a McDonald's.
Stanton.
Sullivan has 2 Dollar Generals.
Yes.
I think
And
we're
one
right.
McDonald's.
I think Dollar General, if they don't have the lead, they're working on taking the lead for
They've got to
most
have the lead.
open businesses. Because I don't know that Dollar General's worldwide.
I mean, I've been in towns where there's 3, 4 different fucking McDonald's.
And I've been in a town where there's been like 10 Dollar Generals.
Yeah, I know, but
There's
like,
a big city near us that has like 8 fucking Walmarts.
Yeah.
So
As of November of 2023, there are 18,912 Dollar General stores.
18,000?
912. So we'll just say we'll round up
That's
to
not as many as I thought it
19,000.
was going to be. It's going to be
I guess
McDonald's.
it's only U.S.
U.S. and territories.
McDonald's is going to win because they're definitely...
Currently, McDonald's has overall 36,500 restaurants in more than 500 countries, but only 14,300 locations in the United
They
States.
still win. It
Yeah.
wasn't US based.
Yes, it was. I literally
No,
searched
no. I'm
US.
saying our assessment wasn't based off of just the US, it was worldwide. What
Yeah,
I
we
were-
only
talked
searched
about.
Dollar General.
You're not listening?
But what we
Breathe.
talked about was
Oh.
was the whole world.
Yeah. Which has more in the
Okay.
world. So now Walmart.
I don't
But
think Walmart
Walmart
reaches-
and Dollar General are not worldwide.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I do.
They're not.
They're not.
But
Well,
that's-
I'm still curious how many Walmarts there are. So in the US, Dollar General has McDonald's beat, but McDonald's has Dollar General beat worldwide.
And in the U.S., Walmart has total retail units 10,509. So that's
Damn.
total, including internet, the countries that they are in,
So
because they're
US
not in Canada.
So it goes Walmart, McDonald's, Dollar General.
in the U.S.
For the U.S.
Worldwide,
In
McDonald's wins.
In the U.S., there's only 4,616 Walmarts.
So where else are they located, Little Miss? They're only in the US.
Well, I know they're not in Canada.
The rest are all in Mexico. And they're not retail stores, they're factories.
What was the country that I... What is it?
I wonder if that includes Sam's Club.
Sam's Club is a part of Walmart.
No.
That's what I'm saying, the retail stores. It's
separated.
separate.
You can only use store located
Hey, Alyssa.
in the United States.
I hate to break it to you, but Canada does have Walmarts.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
They must be very few and far between. It's
One,
five.
They've got four.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I know you're not going to sit there and count every Walmart
Hang on.
in Canada.
Are they all in Ontario?
No.
Okay.
See, this is why people come here. This is important. The stuff with tech earlier, that's not important.
This is our tech-related.
I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it.
There's 20 Walmarts.
There's
All of
20
Canada?
20.
Whole ass
in all of
Walmarts.
Canada. And they're all like in the middle of Canada.
And on a landmass that's like twice the size of the U.S.
So wait, show that again.
Yeah, but I would say a majority of Canada isn't livable.
That is true, like 80%.
Yeah.
Is it in Quebec and Ontario only?
Looks like Manitoba and Ontario.
I was, right before I came here, I was
No.
eating my
Where
lunch.
did you say where they all were?
Ontario.
Oh yeah, they're all in Ontario.
All in Ontario.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
you're right.
Arkansas of fucking.
Hey!
know what?
We might have Ontario
Sorry,
listeners.
Canadians.
Sorry,
Not
Canadians.
sorry.
Anyways, before I came here, I was watching, like, I was scrolling through TikTok and I came across this live of this guy playing the Geo game where you, like,
Geocache?
no,
Oh.
it pops you into this area on
And you got to figure out
Google,
where you're at.
and you have to
gotcha.
figure out where it is and then, like,
Oh.
click on the map where it is. And he was competing with another person to whoever got it closest to
We
it.
played that in VR once. That's a fun game.
We actually played it several times.
It looks like he made it look so fucking easy. He was like, oh, well, these trees are here and this is that and that sign is in this language and da 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 da. And I'm like, how the fuck did you learn all of this? And
It's
he
a-
knew every single one of them. I don't think he was ever wrong.
We've played maybe like 30 rounds of that game. It is really fun. And just when you're like, oh, duh, I know where this is at, and you do it,
Wrong.
and you're wrong.
Yeah. And it throws a random
They're like,
territory
you're
of the
like, oh,
country
this
in
is the fuck. This is obviously China. No, they're like, no, that's Arkansas.
That would
Yeah.
clearly be the worst of that game.
there. Oh, we're definitely in France. Look at that French there. Nope, you're in Africa in the one little colony that's left from France.
Yes.
It's
You're in Chinatown in the middle of Missouri.
yeah, it's a fun game though. If you ever get a chance to check that out, it is fun.
A little known fact to determine if you are in fact in a Chinatown in Missouri, look around for the meth.
Correct.
Why do you think meth only comes from Chinatown in Missouri?
I think Missouri has a higher per capita usage of meth.
I mean, Crawford County was
We
like,
held the title for a long
yeah,
time.
Yep.
very long time.
Now I think it's
In the world,
Jeffco.
right?
And
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up right next to a meth lab. It
Go
blew up.
Crawford
Same.
County. Woo!
It caught on fire. Ours
Actually-
caught on fire.
I grew up
Your
next
meth
to
lab
two of
caught on
them,
fire?
and
Yes.
within a year of each other, they both blew up.
Florida man ain't got shit on Crawford man.
That's right, Rusty.
Oh, speaking of Florida Man, me and Deluch Sweet Pea were looking at like the candidates of 2024 or whatever, and we saw one of them was a guy
Trump.
from Florida, and we were like, I don't know about that, Florida Man. I don't think that's a good idea. And then we're like, wait a minute, that might be the best goddamn idea we've ever had.
Nope.
I don't
Nope.
think so. Who was that? Jon Stewart? People are trying to
Yes.
get him to become president.
Who is that?
Jon Stewart, the late night TV show host.
You'd have to show me a picture. I'm not good at names.
He's fucking hilarious. But like somebody built their own because he's not running.
Right.
People are asking for it, like for you to write him in. And like the little campaign video they made of him
Like-
arguing with politicians and like just calling them fucking stupid.
I have a question.
It's fantastic.
Say that by some chance happens, like enough people write you in, but you did not want to be the president. Do you then have to
No.
be the president?
I mean, you
To
can
not
decline.
disappoint your people? Yes.
You can decline presidency, but it'll never happen
I mean-
because media blockage, media control. Like
Same reason third party never get.
at this
never
point,
gets
I'm pretty
voted.
sure Jon Stewart would do a better job than half these fucking geriatrics that are trying to run or have ran or are running.
I will
don't
say,
know,
I'm pretty
Donald
sure
Trump's doing
Florida
pretty
Man
good.
would also do a better job. But that bar is not set very high.
No, I would trust Florida Man over our current and past administrations for probably the last 15, 20 years.
You
And
don't have
that's
many
saying
options
something.
there.
Which is probably why people listen to us in other countries because they're like, these Americans get it. Their country is shit. Yes, no, we know. And that's the beautiful thing about our country is we're allowed to say that our country is shit and we don't get thrown in jail for it yet.
No, I think it's
And
so funny.
we can talk about the Nazis whenever we want.
Calm down.
I think it's hilarious that like you go to these other countries, at least, you know, a while back. I don't know about currently. And like their style, their fashion would be based off of like the celebrities from America. But then they would bash Americans like, okay, then why do you want to like dress like us? I don't understand. If you hate us so fucking much.
Because they're able to be open-minded to the fact that maybe this isn't great, but this is something they're good at. Where America really lacks at is they're like, well, 3,000 years ago, the Chinese said that I had tiny testicles. So we hate the Chinese. They have nothing
That
to
is true.
contribute to the world because tiny testicles, me.
Americans are very bad at concurrent events. So, like, you'll be on Facebook and there will be a post. This dog was found on the side of the road last night. Obviously a stray, been out there forever, needs $10,000 worth of surgery to save his life. And then you'll see someone in the comments be like, well, we've got homeless veterans that y'all don't care about.
And then you
You
also
can-
have people on there like, that's my dog. I've been missing him for 24 hours.
But Americans are very bad at realizing that people can care about these things at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, the dog is probably already asking for help. And I'm not going to talk shit on our veterans.
No.
But
And that's just an example. There are tons of
something
homeless people out there that weren't
that
veterans.
I'd like to point out about that, though, is you can't help people who don't want help.
Yes. There are also tons of, like, using the veterans as an example, tons of government programs that are made to help veterans or homeless people or
And while they're not
drug
great-
addicts.
No.
They're still there,
Yes.
But they're also very difficult to
That is true.
get involved
and they
in.
shouldn't be.
No.
But at the same time, there are plenty of people that do get into those programs and don't use them what they're there for.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have people that do take advantage of the system. You do. And you're going to have people that get pissed about that. And then you're going to have people who use it how they're supposed to. But I did this
And then
little
there will still
breakdown.
be people who get pissed about that.
Go ahead.
They in the military they really like teach you to do teamwork and shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What they need to really start teaching you, along with teamwork, is to teamwork with people you don't know. Because asking for help from strangers is a lot harder than asking for help from your friends.
I mean, that should just be taught across the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like,
I think it's not even necessarily that they don't know how to ask for help. It's more or less like they teach you how to take apart a gun a million times, but they won't teach you how to work within a system.
The military's purpose is war.
Yeah.
And back in the day, they'd beat the fuck out of you to get you prepared for war, which wasn't the answer. Now, they're like, well, you know, we have to be nice and inclusive, so we're not going to beat the fuck out of you, and that's pissed off a whole nother group of people. But what people don't realize is the military's purpose is war. Even the National Guard is made for war on American soil, even if it's against the American people. They call them in all the time to riots and shit. Hang on.
I'm not arguing that
No,
point.
no, I know. But
oh, he knows what
they,
you're about to say.
no, I just want to finish my damn thought because I already lost one earlier.
Oh no, other people can talk too.
Such a bitch. The idea that, you know, I'm just going to join the military to get a scholarship to go to school and stuff, well, that's great. It's a ploy to get your ass in there. When I see a military veteran, I tell them thank you for their service. Sorry for what the government made you do. Because they blow smoke up your ass as far as what that is. There's no mental health support in front, in the middle of, or therein after. And if you actually do go to war and you see people getting exploded, you might need some of that help when you get back, but people turn to the bottle or drugs to deal with that stress.
It's not that there isn't mental health
It's looked down
opportunities.
upon.
Yes. It's the idea that you're not a real man if you go to the therapist to
I
work
don't
through
know.
your
Because
That's
issues.
why I
like
don't
when
go.
I was having issues,
Maybe nowadays.
Yeah, but then they booted your ass.
But the majority of the time that our military has been a military, it has been man this, man that. You're not a real man if you can't handle your own problems. But knowing full well that it was happening, they chose completely to ignore the fact that, you know, Vietnam veterans were coming back from Vietnam very much not the same and beating and murdering their wives and
also
children.
getting spit on,
And
trash
they were
Also
talked.
getting spit on.
yeah,
Treated like
they were
shit.
still
Addicted to
trying to
drugs.
figure out what shell shocked was. Like
Yeah.
they were still trying to figure out what is PTSD.
We
I
can't
don't-
we can't forget that higher up in our military there are still people who were involved in that
Yeah.
era of war.
Yeah. And they don't, like, you talk to these people and you're like, well, I want a world living in peace. Well, we can't do that if we let our guard down. No, motherfucker. Calm down. Why does there have to be a controlling party? Why does there have to be a controlling entity? Why can't people just live the way they want to fucking live in the world? If you want to live in China and you want to live under that kind of government,
Adam ate the apple.
and then that's where you live. If you want to leave there and you want to go to the U.S. and seek out some sort of different kind of freedoms or the ability to do certain things or follow your dream, by God, let them fucking do it. Stop. You cannot control the people anymore. Too many of them are waking up. You're losing your handle on it. You 80 and 95, 110, 3,000-year-old motherfuckers up there at top. You're losing it. And there's nothing you're going to do at this point except for the one option, which is blow up the whole fucking world because you can't have what you want.
That's going to happen.
Sit down, shit in your diaper, let the nurse wipe your ass, and enjoy your applesauce.
Why are you putting that on nurses? If you're a cantankerous old coot, you need someone else to wipe your ass because I don't get paid enough.
I'm just
Pay
saying.
the nurses
Let
more.
your family do it.
You've got enough money at this point.
If they're still around, then you're good.
It's I think just the general public's just done at this point, and it's not just a US thing. And that's another thing that they do in other countries is they feel bad for us.
Yes.
There's very few countries that look at the US as a land of opportunity anymore.
Oh, yeah, no.
I did hear it out of somebody's mouth the other day, and I was like, well, you ain't been here long enough, have you?
Nope.
I mean, there are still opportunities in the United States, but you have to be on guard for people who are going to fuck you over, be an asshole to you. Like, it's not as easy as it was once touted to be to come to America and start a whole new life. Like,
Yeah, starting your own business.
people
even
who are
start
born
my
in
own life
America,
in
it's not
America.
easy to be in America and just rewrite your history.
Was it? I may have brought this up, but I just want to touch on it again. I think it's about a month and a half, 2 months ago. I had somebody in the back of my Uber that worked for Nestle,
Oh, that wasn't even that long ago.
right?
Yeah.
And did I bring it up on here?
Mm-hmm.
Just to reiterate, Nestle, the chocolate company,
Giant corporation.
is buying up all the vet clinics across North America, not just in the U.S. Okay? This is a thing. You can look it up. They're doing it. And they're doing it to control the vet market.
Yeah.
This is a good point to bring up in this conversation too, though, is Nestle isn't just a chocolate company.
They used to be.
I don't know when they started with chocolate versus other things, but Nestle does baby formula, they do water, they do all sorts of other types of food consumables. So it's not that far of a reach for Nestle to go to dog food and maybe not vet clinics, but have their foot in that space as well. However, I think where the more concerning issue is that it's corporations. The funeral industry has been like that for decades.
I was getting there. It's obviously not that, okay, this company decided to buy this thing up. It's the intent behind it, right?
They also do pet products.
Yeah.
It's the intent behind it. They're doing it to control that market. So people who want to come from other countries here that are like, I want to be a veterinarian, and I want to own my own vet clinic. You better do it right now, because in the next 5 or 10 years, you may not be able to. They may have made it to where you can't get qualified, or it's so expensive to get to that point, or every market is already filled up with these guys, and the market is this, and then the medication costs this, and dog food, and this, and this, and this. The cost of all of it is so unattainable for the average person that now, if you need to go get your dog snipped, you got to get a loan for $5,000 to fucking do it, or it doesn't get done. And that's where the issue lies. That's where the American dream is dying and has been dead, because there is no more free market. We in this world, not just our country, are living in the actual game of fucking Monopoly at this point.
Yes. And all the people
And I'm losing.
for the last when Obama was in office, the big thing was he wants New World Order, NWO. Fuck that guy. He wants the world to be one big government. Bitch, it already is. You are already living in that reality. Is it to the extent that your freaking sci-fi movies have portrayed it? No, not yet.
And that was
But
done
we're
on purpose.
already there.
I heard somebody say to me something along the lines of, well, I want it to be American made. I just find that funny. I don't know of hardly anything anymore that's American made. And even if it is, it's foreign owned. We are the worker
Or
bees.
it's foreign sourced.
Okay? And our money is constantly going out into other countries. Period. And that's okay. What's not okay is the ability for these companies to just keep buying up more companies and literally have a monopoly on those systems. Part of this issue came from when organizations and companies decided to rally and try to have the ability to be treated like a person. Okay? But it doesn't work the other way around where a person can claim to be a corporation. Because corporations get all kinds of tax loopholes and blah, 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 blah that you can't have even as an LLC.
No, but you can as an S corp.
All of that stuff is also paywalled.
Yes, it's also not very well known. Even like your accountant, technically, if you wanted optimal tax deductions, your accountant should have suggested that you not open an LLC, that you put your
What? That scared the fuck out of me.
new follower.
Oh, hey, what the hell? How did we get a new follower right now?
I don't know,
We're not live streaming.
but you just
was
killed all of us.
I don't know.
What is happening?
We got another one.
Could be my
Cyanide Lover?
Oh, they're on our Discord.
It could be my sister and her
Hey,
boyfriend.
well, hey, we appreciate the follow. You're not going to hear it on any kind of live or anything, but
What was I saying?
that sound right there is us getting followers on our Twitch.
I don't know, but she was talking about something that scared the fuck out of me because I was like, "Are we about to die?"
They're listening to us. Stop.
Like, it almost sounded kind of like a helicopter. And it just started getting louder. I was like, "Ah."
The FBI's been listening this whole time. We can't let them get this message out. The general public is not allowed to know.
Bomb
Anyway.
them.
When you started your business, Green Ducky Logistics, your accountant should have suggested that you started as an S corp, not an LLC, because then you could have gotten more tax deductions and more protections.
Yeah, and we're not at CPA,
No.
so take what we say with a grain of salt on this stuff.
Yeah, this is just the information that I've gathered.
If you do want to know more about this, definitely reach out to a professional. We are not tax professionals.
Vet that professional.
I'm so ready to get my taxes back. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well,
But-
you know they're going to shut the government down right before all the checks get sent out for
Oh,
about
yeah.
3 months.
Yep.
Just a heads up. I'm making a prediction with my. Oh, yep, they're gonna shut down the government here in about a month.
Yep.
So far, my friend that works in the government has not mentioned a government shutdown.
Well,
She
the
always
government
does.
hasn't. Even, they probably forgot that they're gonna do it.
Oh shit.
It's
we-
shit.
can we
Tax
do that
season's
tomorrow?
coming. We gotta do something with the budget, so we gotta shut the government down. Fuck.
Click the button. The red one.
Oh God, I feel great. Charlene, come wipe my ass.
Ghost.
It was my sister and her boyfriend, and then she sent hashtag support small businesses. I figured that would kind of go along with what we're talking
Wait a
about.
minute. Can they hear us?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
I'm just recording right now. I didn't go live.
Are you sure?
No. What the fuck? Hang on.
Twitch. Going there now.
I'm fucking terrified.
I mean, this one's been pretty mild. We haven't said
I
anything.
know, but I feel like I'm being watched unknowingly.
No, that's fucking creepy, dude, because how would she know we were talking about small businesses?
We weren't.
We
I mean-
kind of
We
were.
were just talking about small vet clinics
And monopolies.
and monopolies. Yeah.
Then
in
yeah,
supportion
what
of-
she just sent is in direct
A little
regard
too
to what we were
obvious.
talking
One.
about.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, okay. Oh my god, I'm terrified. I wanna
What
go
is going
home.
on right now? Ask her how
This
she
is
knew what we were talking
Callie's
about.
PTSD.
Watch, we'll be like on Facebook or something right now.
I will say that we are pretty predictable people as far as the conversations. that
No
we will
fucking
get.
way. No, I'm not accepting that as an answer. We're streaming
Honestly,
somewhere.
I wonder if there's a glitch in Matrix somewhere. At
She's
this
already
point.
listened to this episode.
Somehow she's listening,
Scared.
which means others could be listening.
They're right outside of the window.
Yeah,
She
hashtag
gets
small
that.
business.
Super early access.
She's like, "Fuck being a patron.
I
I'm just
know
gonna stand
where
outside
you
the
live
window."
and record.
This is fucking creepy though, because you see this. We're not live.
No.
Yeah, I see that, but You got any other windows open somewhere?
Probably. Hang on.
His
He's
brain
got
is
two
fucking
windows
weird.
open of the same thing, but one of them's streaming.
So,
Anyway, yes, no, you can't be a corporation as an individual, but you can be treated as an individual as a corporation. We lost him.
So,
Yep.
Ghost,
No, there's nothing else running.
that's weird. That's creepy.
And he just said we're not live on Twitch right now. Y'all just heard that like as it happened.
That was really scary.
There's no cutting. This wasn't planned. That's fucking weird.
why would anybody plan
Is she
that?
responding to you?
She texted me.
Call her ass.
He's very concerned right now.
Right now, I'm gonna eat my Fruit Loops. And Captain Crunch.
Hashtag small business my ass. She's working for the FBI.
Secret agent. Double agent.
Triple agent.
Hey, you are currently on the air, so
You are a ghost.
I am Ghost, and we have some questions for you.
Oh, man.
How in the fuck are you? Can you hear us right now?
Yeah?
I mean,
No.
could
Oh
you,
my God.
like- not like right
Yes,
this very
she
second,
can
but
hear
could
us
you
right
hear
now.
what we were talking about? Like, were we live on stream or anything like that?
No, why?
Because literally, your hashtag support small businesses is basically kind of what we were talking about as soon as you said that, and it was really weird.
And we were like, we saw your follow on our Twitch.
Yeah, you
pop
scared
up.
the. Your follow because we're using that software to record right now. We're in the middle of recording an episode, and then you.
Yeah, you're not live or anything.
So your follow scared the shit out of us first off, and then you were like hashtag small business. I'm like, where the fuck are we streaming at right now?
The conversation was literally talking about how Van should have filed his business as an S corp, not an LLC.
That's great. See, I'm just like that instinctually. I'm your number one fan. That's what
Okay,
it is.
listen, you can go ahead and let us know. Blink twice. We can see you if you're working for the FBI.
Blink, blink.
There it is. That's fucking creepy, bro.
Jesus.
All right. That just happened.
Well, thank you
That's
guys for the
perfect.
follows.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
We do appreciate that. Make sure you share that last episode we put out. I think it's one of our bangers.
Okay, I'll go listen to it.
Okay. Love ya.
Love you too.
Bye.
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 Okay, so that just happened.
That was-
Angela's going to get to hear herself on the air come Wednesday.
Through a
She'll
phone.
never
But
listen
I mean,
again.
there you go. Just follow us at any random time here, and you might just
get a shout out.
you might get a shout out on the air. Now, if you
Might get a
do
phone call.
if you do become a patron member, yeah, try to guess what we're talking about. Just send something fucking random. That would be hilarious.
Oh God. You just randomly they would have to guess the time that we're recording, the date we're recording, and what we're talking about.
Yep. Good luck.
That's so weird that she managed to do that.
There's no such thing as coincidence. That bitch is listening in on something. She's part of the FBI. Phoebe. And now she's just shut off Alyssa's computer.
Bum, bum, bum.
Fuck. Anyways, fuck the government.
The FBI knows we're on to them.
Fuck corporations.
Well-
they're taking over. They're overrunning everything. They're taking control of everything. And if you're like, yeah, but no, mine's owned by this little organization, see who they're owned by.
Let me go into this. So I saw this
Ghost had
I'm
a
not
question.
sorry.
Ghost. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
We were just talking about corporations
Jesus
and how
Christ,
they've gone
ghosts?
too
Damn.
far. I saw this TikTok the other day, and I'll just read it to you. I'm not gonna let you listen to this woman rant.
Give me a goddamn Kleenex.
Why would you point at your eyeball for a Kleenex?
I'm pointing at my nose.
No, you were doing this.
He's making a goddamn Kleenex. Callie, continue.
Sorry.
It says Ubisoft exec says gamers need to get comfortable with not owning your own games.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
piracy's bad.
piracy is bad, but you can't own your game.
What?
Can you say it exactly like that again? Same face and everything?
I don't know because I can't remember how I said it.
Piracy is bad.
And essentially what we're alluding to here is that you're going to pay $70, $80 to be able to play a game title.
Yeah,
And then if they just decide one day, hey, we don't want to do that anymore, it could be your favorite game in the whole world. Fuck you. You
like
don't have
PlayStation just did.
Yeah, you don't have a hard copy of it. We're just removing it, and then there goes your money. Thanks a lot. See you next time.
Yep. So they could just make a new game, have it for like a year, get all that money, and then say, well, it sucks to suck.
And this is where piracy actually kind of comes in as a vigilante hero. People are downloading
Support your local
offline
pirate.
copies.
Hashtag we do not condone piracy.
I don't condone anything you do. You have to condone that. But anyways, they get these copies of these games, and then they have them held separately. The thing that makes you a pirate is the selling of that illegally. But they're trying to classify just having it, and it's not from them, as piracy. That's not quite how that works. But these people, like, there are games that you cannot have access to anymore, period. They're already gone. They've been wiped from systems. They're not available on the internet.
And
there are
opening the back door to the game for the room of all the games that they've stolen.
There's a pirate somewhere that just has this booty. This nice booty.
You're getting off topic.
Yeah. It has this treasure chest of video
Booty.
games. A booty.
This
A-
nice chest.
A nice chest full of booty.
That sounds like a person that was
Ghost is
created
like-
by AI.
I'm willing to look at that.
It's just two butts that make up boobs.
Yeah. So, that's where the piracy thing comes in with that. But, you're being told by corporations, just get comfortable not owning shit anymore. We're going to own it all. You can rent it from us.
Yeah, for $70.
Well, and it's kind of, I feel like, been the plan all along, because we initially had Blu-rays, and then we had Blu-rays that came with digital downloads, and then we had just digital downloads, and then we had streaming, and then they brought the gaming industry into it, and now it's easier for us to go on Steam or Epic and download a game than it is to go stake out where the actual physical copy of it is. And then you have games like Fortnite that you can purchase, or could for a long time, like a physical disc.
You still can.
But that physical disc is only a digital copy.
Yeah, you
don't
have to
own
have
it
connection
after
to
that.
the internet for that disc to work. And actually, on the new PlayStation 5 that's coming out, the new Slim version, it has you can, if you get the digital, then that's the only one you can buy.
Yeah.
But if you want to be able to play discs on it, you can buy that part separately and then attach it to that. But
That
in
sounds
order
like
for that,
bottlenecking.
in order for that disc reader to work, you have to be connected to the internet.
That's bullshit.
In order to use the disc reader on the new PS5, you have to have an internet connection.
It's almost like they have a companionship with these internet companies. That's what it feels like. Like, hey, if we make everything to where you have to have internet for, you want to like give us some money, so then they have to purchase internet from you.
Well, they began the addiction
That
with
was
the
the
games,
money. They were fucking each other, and
Yeah.
the money was.
and then the internet company can now just slow your speeds down or fucking not fix your goddamn internet at
Ours
all.
has been a lot better.
Better, but we still were lagging last night.
Yeah, I
that's
think
the first
that's-
time I've been on
I
Fortnite
think that's just
in 2
Fortnite.
weeks, so I have no idea.
Fortnite's been lagging since
He
they
obviously
released
got
this new
57
season.
different devices hooked to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but
Our
we
Wi-Fi
built our
is more
Wi-Fi to
than
handle
enough.
that.
Apparently not.
No, but this whole gaming industry, like this is an issue industry wide. Every industry right now, like there's a reason why I love my job in the solar industry. Absolutely fucking love it. Because my job is to give you energy independence. You don't have to follow the rules of the utility company to a certain extent anymore. Like you aren't giving them your fucking money anymore. You're purchasing something and then it's paying for itself. You are actually buying your own power plant.
Well, I mean, think about your vehicles. You buy a vehicle, you pay it completely off. You're still paying personal property taxes on
That's
it.
government. That's different. We're talking about corporations
But it
railing
is,
you.
I mean, it's the.
I'm not going to get onto a taxes talk right now. We're in the middle of bashing the government or the God damn it.
Corporations.
the corporations that are in
Also,
bed with the
yeah,
government.
we'll get to the
That's
government
where
in a
the
minute
point-
because that's a whole nother thing. The corporation. Okay, if you're a Trump lover, great. I'm so happy for you.
I'm not.
But there's this thing that I'd like to point out. 60s, 70s babies are not babies, hippies. The guys who were all Cheech and Chonging it up in the 60s and 70s and acid dripping, and it was the number one fucking thing that you see on any video about then.
You and all your cult buddies.
Woodstock.
Fuck the man, bro. We're going to take the fucking man down. Corporations are evil, bro. That's it. 60s and 70s. The man was corporations. Corporations were keeping us down, right?
Not a direct translation, but yeah.
So what happened is there's some psychologist working in that government system. There's a whole team of them. But there's one somewhere.
There's one man.
And this one man's face is plastered on every fucking wall of this building, okay? Because he was brilliant. He goes, I have this idea. I'm going to trick all of these fucking stoner motherfuckers from the 60s and 70s into cutting out the middleman, the government. And we're just going to put corporations in office. Trump is one of the biggest conglomerate corporation owners in the fucking world, but he's not a politician. No, he was paying politicians to get shit passed. He literally cut out the middleman. Okay, but while he was in office, I paid less. That wasn't him. His policies take time to take effect.
That wasn't his policy.
None of these motherfuckers care about you. They only care about their wallet. Okay?
Let's have a reminder in this moment that during the Trump administration, when you were paying $1.80 per gallon for fuel, that was not our government. Our government had nothing to do with that. That was actually Russia and Saudi Arabia having a who has a bigger dick contest and trying to starve the other one out.
Quite literally.
That's what that was.
Yep.
But Americans, North Americans, U.S. citizens with their big heads go, it's all because of us. Well, England was also suffering afterwards. And our president didn't affect England's fucking fuel prices, jackass. Okay? Our president wasn't like, I'm going to do this thing. And then England was like, God damn it, President Reagan, Trump fucker.
Now, I will say that the government could have figured out a way to keep our fuel prices stabilized at the higher rate. They could have, but they didn't.
Okay.
Just like I think it was France that didn't really experience much of a drop in price per liter.
I mean, it's slowly going down, but it's just going to spike back up again. That's
Yeah.
how the fuel market
I'm just
works.
saying that there were governments that saw this opportunity of this pissing contest between these two oil conglomerates and was like, meh, our people don't need this savings.
Yeah, well, and not to mention, so when all this was going down, there was a thing happening across the U.S. Ghost here took a picture of it when he was out running one of my trucks in Arizona, wasn't it? Where the price of fuel was $14 a gallon.
Diesel at a tiny little gas station in the middle of nowhere.
$9 a gallon at a truck stop, and right across the road it was 5 something.
Okay, this is what we call price gouging. And it's illegal. Unless you're a corporation, then you can get away with whatever the fuck you want.
The
Yes.
fuck was that?
I don't know.
Probably-
Thunder, lightning, a child falling off the roof. I don't care.
I
Very
think it was that
frightening.
one.
So this is what we're up against, people. Okay? It's not our fucking administration. Our administration doesn't matter anymore.
Our government doesn't move fast enough for these types of things.
They need
be
to
our
upgrade their
government's
wheelchairs,
fault.
upgrade their walkers, strap
Yeah.
fucking...
Get Professor X's fucking wheelchair up.
Whoever hacked Stephen Hawking's
I was
wheelchair,
getting ready to say that.
they need to go in and do some different program.
Yeah, different
But
program. Fix the, and that's the majority of the problem, right? And I feel like a lot of the stuff that we're facing right now is these old fucks knowing that their time is limited, grasping to that last little bit.
Your time is limited, son.
We don't have the issue as much with our
Things are running up and down the stairs.
it could be. We don't have the issue as much in our area. But if you go to a DMV in a bigger city and you hit all of the red tape and bullshit, that is how our entire government as a whole runs. Nothing happens quickly in our government. And it's not because of technology,
the inability to do it.
it's because they don't update processes.
However, if something's going on with a multi-billion-dollar corporation that slides our government officials lobby money, that
Gets done
problem
real
gets
fast.
solved in a week.
Yeah.
3.5 years after I got hit by a fucking 18-wheeler, I will be able to go to court to fight to get what I'm owed for the damages to my body, my family, my finances, et cetera, et cetera. But Epic Games has an issue with Apple, and they go to court within a year.
And get how much?
$75 million.
Apple does.
Apple got it.
Yeah.
They got sued by Epic Games, which is a much smaller company, corporate organization. But that needs to be that speaks to you, right? You've got to see that. Like, this Kool-Aid isn't enough anymore. Like, I think we've all become impervious to the Kool-Aid, right? You can see where Apple, who, trust me, I've got a bunch of Apple devices, huge
Oh,
fan
no,
of
I still
Apple.
like Kool-Aid.
We need to switch over to Flavor Aid now.
They beat Epic Games when Epic Games beat Samsung or Android. And like they rolled them over, and then they turned around and they're like, you know what? We're also going to sue you for more money for all of our court
Damages.
costs.
And damages.
And won.
And one. And Epic Games also lost another lawsuit to the government.
For
I'll read it.
this is what we're up against. Like
Well,
Epic
ain't gonna be
Games is
gaming no more.
Epic Games is giving you free games
What?
to
Not gonna
play.
be gaming anymore.
Oh.
and they're not getting the support they need. They're actually not doing so great. And Tim Sweeney, isn't it, that runs Epic Games? Tim.
I don't know.
Anyways,
It's
he's
Tim something.
fighting to be able to continue doing this and being able to generate enough revenue to continue on. Because running a game company takes a lot of fucking money to operate, to pay the people that do this stuff. And then people are like, well, AI is going to ruin it. Well, yeah, because that's what they can afford. You want to know where our new logos came from? Fucking AI generator. Do I
And
feel
I
like shit
hate
for
it.
that because we couldn't pay a fucking artist to do it? Yeah. When we get to that point, we'll pay for an artist to do the work.
Now, hang on a minute, because it isn't necessarily that we couldn't pay for an artist to do it. Our society as a whole has this issue. We didn't want to wait.
I don't have the funds to pay an artist.
Instant gratification. Your freaking daughter could do. the
She's
logos.
expensive.
She's gonna be expensive irregardless. Yes, Ghost.
If the image I will be providing wins, I will be paying an artist.
Yeah,
for
that's
it.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have all the tools to do these digitally without using AI. But
We ain't good at art.
it's not even that. It's
I'm not good at art.
sitting down and developing all of these images. First off, you have to come up with the idea of what exactly you want it to be. Secondly, you have to figure out which program you need to bring it to fruition. That didn't want to come out of my mouth.
Fruit
Fruition.
petitions.
Fruit Loops.
Maybe that's what the issue was. And then you have to take the time to sit down and develop it. With my iPad, I could probably, even with my small amount of artistic skill that I don't have, develop logos very similar to the ones that are being provided by AI. But it took AI a minute for each of those logos versus the several hours it's going to take me to draw one. It's also a gratification thing. It is not just a money thing.
Right.
Yeah.
We have the tools.
Time is money too.
That is
is
correct.
true.
Van also broke AI.
I attempted
Not
to.
surprised.
It eventually won.
So this
the quest
other
continues.
lawsuit, it says Epic Games agreed in December to pay a total of $520 million to settle U.S. government allegations that it misled millions of players, including children and teens, into making unintended purchases, and that it violated a landmark federal child privacy law.
What are they pertaining to?
The item shop.
It's similar to,
I mean,
The-
it was pretty clear you had to do several things in order to purchase.
yes. I don't think the way that the lawsuit was worded was proper, and I don't think that necessarily Epic Games and their own psychologists probably did play a big part in the decision-making processes. But a lot of that should have been parents making sure either their children didn't have ready access to their debit card information, because what it was kids going in and making hundreds of dollars worth of purchases for V-Bucks and skins and
Well,
bullshit.
Yeah, and on top of that, so these parents would find out that their child did this, and so they would contact Epic Games, be like, hey, we didn't mean to make this purchase. Our child got a hold of this. Like, we want a refund. Like,
And that's where Epic's
yeah.
Why would the
policies
government-
are the issue.
And so they, instead of, giving a
Because-
refund or a partial refund, they would just, what does it say? It says
Because
lock their accounts.
because they managed to get the class action lawsuit filed under a protect the children style law.
So, but that means the government's getting that money and not the parents?
Yes.
Well,
Wow.
no, people,
Well,
you
it'll
can
be-
file for a money. Like, if
It winds
you
You'll
were
get like
affected.
$10.
And you also have to be able to prove that you were affected by
Yeah.
the
That's another thing that kills me too about these lawsuits. Like, class action lawsuit against Apple. You might be entitled to compensation,
$5.
if that. $2.80.
Yeah.
You might be out a couple hundred, but this is what we got for you. And to a company like Apple, be like, oh, thank God they won that lawsuit. They got a $500 million fine. That is
Nothing.
like 3 days worth of revenue,
Not even.
Yeah.
if that. Like, we were doing this the other day. Like, honest to God, if we could do this full time, we would. But in order for us to do that, if we had 1,000 patrons, right, at $5 a month, that's $5,000 a month. That would be enough for one of us to maybe quit our jobs and work on this full time. Okay? If we had 10,000, that'd be $50,000 a month. We could all quit our jobs, do stupid shit, fuck shit up, wreck Lamborghinis, make content out of it, like all kinds of shit. We
We're
could
coming for you, Whistling.
we could do
Diesel.
whistling diesel shit, all right? We really could. We could set up obstacle courses. Like, that's the dream. That's the content creator dream, is to have those kinds of funds. Okay, now take that step back for a minute. When we first got Netflix, it was $7.99 a month for a family plan.
Yeah.
Now it's like $23, $27 for a family plan, and they have millions of subscribers.
Yeah. It doesn't get cheaper. It just gets more expensive.
It's getting more expensive. That
So-
means the community is giving Netflix billions of dollars a year, these monthly subscriptions. So what the fuck, man? Like, when does it end? And now everybody's like, well, I'm going to create a subscription service to my deal. And it's like nickel and diming us, where it was $80 for cable. Now you're paying $250, $350 a month for all these separate subscriptions. Fuck that.
What do ours pay a month on Patreon?
$5.
$5.
Yeah.
You want to just lock it in now, where it's always $5? Never raise it, never lower it.
well,
Well, we will have another
Yeah.
tier.
there's
Huh?
going to be tiers of it. So the base one is $5. It's going to stay that way, $5. We might add a tier, maybe another tier for like more exclusive things.
Butthole picks.
Maybe.
Here's an example.
But
of
that's later on.
And it
why-
also depends on what do they do. What does Patreon do? Do they change up their guidelines to where they're like, hey, we're taking 90% of this now?
You open that back door again.
Yeah.
If they take 90% of the money that they give us, then we'd have to raise it or change platforms completely in order to continue bringing content once it gets to a certain point.
We'll move to OnlyFans.
So here's a good example of the way media and Google specifically can control your perspective on things, just in general. I typed in, how much does Apple make in a day, into Google? And the top answer says, from a company called Tipalti, Apple is one of the world's most profitable businesses and retains a top spot that it earns in our 2020 study, generating over $157 billion a day, which equates to $1,820 every second. That is your top answer, which is what most people go off of in Google. And this is why I scroll. Daily Mail. Apple makes $1,700 in profit. Sorry, $1,820 per single second. Apple makes $1,700 in profit per second. How much does Apple make in a day? Roughly $1 billion in revenue every single day. But then Daily Mail is the only one of these that I've ever heard of. But they are also very good about like sourcing their information from maybe not great sources.
Google.
Yeah. Then where was it? Triton's Technology. It's amazing how much money Apple makes per day. $157,290,411 USD profit per day.
USD
Yeah.
profit, not world profit.
Well, it's
in US dollars.
Oh, gotcha. I thought it was saying U.S.
was-
profit. Oh, shut the fuck up.
And then this one here from Times Now, which I don't believe is Times News.
Or even
Says-
Times Magazine.
They make 259.4 million each day of fiscal year 2022. The numbers, none of the, like, they intentionally throw out so much variation in the way, like, I just wanted a graph from the United States from their taxes that says gross profit, net profit. But you can't get that because Google, the way that Google is designed, it's to intentionally mislead you.
Yes.
It's probably there somewhere.
And it
You
takes
have
off
to fucking find it.
and it takes
Page
what you
8
say
million.
and it tries to curate what you want to see based off of how you ask the question.
I don't want to see how much they make.
Him and I, Ghost and I, sat down the other day when he asked about, I thought space was freezing cold. And because he asked in a certain way, it told him, yes, space is freezing cold. And I was like, no, dude, you can't ask that way. You have to ask it this way. And then I got the actual answer, which is like space doesn't have
He
a
got
temperature.
His actual answer.
No, I got the factual.
His actual answer.
Okay. Anyways, so that stuff curates to it too. But I mean, all this to say, like, you got people who are keyboard warriors, always wanting to fight for this or that. Like, you guys got to quit fighting. The number one thing that really pisses me off, okay, the number one thing, was it last year, the last 3 or 4 years, there's these government programs where they're giving people money.
The topic was, would you instantly freeze in space, right?
Yeah.
Best way to find that information is, what's the temperature in space?
Correct.
What is the temperature of space? Outer space has a baseline temperature of 2.7 Kelvin, which is roughly minus 453.8 degrees Fahrenheit or 270.5 degrees Celsius.
She Googled like me.
I typed, what is the temperature of space?
Me too.
And then scroll down.
That's not answering your question. Based off of this information, at minus 453.8 degrees Celsius, fuck yeah, you'd freeze instantly. I freeze instantly at like 2.
But you wouldn't freeze
How
instantly.
quickly would you freeze in space? Between 18 and 36 hours. Due to radiational cooling.
Take a while.
So again, space doesn't have a temperature.
No, space has a temperature.
What's the source on
It
that?
just doesn't have the effect
Google.
that you...
What's the source?
USA Today,
Fuck them. They're biased.
it just...
So what did you
Go to
click on?
NASA. Go look up an
NASA's
actual
called
Call
science.
this place in the universe. Here's what NASA has to say.
Go to a non-biased.
Everything
the
is
fact-
biased.
Go to NASA.
Hang on.
Here's what NASA
The
has to
fact
say.
of the matter is, space doesn't have a temperature. Period. It doesn't have a temperature. It's a vacuum. It doesn't have a medium in which to have a temperature.
Apparently, it's negative 400 and some odd degrees.
But it's
Celsius.
not. It's not.
That's what NASA says.
NASA's
Say it. Say it.
special.
This motherfucker sitting here arguing NASA.
I don't give a fuck. I'll argue in front of NASA. NASA, you're stupid.
And yet you told us to look up what NASA said.
Yeah, because I wanted to know just how stupid they were.
Yeah, that's what you were going for.
Space doesn't have a temperature.
He will argue this.
There's
till the
no
day he dies.
medium in space. There's no temperature.
No medium.
So now we found 4 different answers to the one fucking question
No,
on
you
Google.
I have
My
yet
point.
to find an answer.
They had the same answer. Me and you had the same answer. I told him the exact same number on what the temperature of space was.
And it's not accurate.
NASA says it is.
Again, they've never been to the moon. They don't know what they're talking about.
Let's ask Elon whenever he gets back.
Space doesn't have anything to have a temperature.
How low do you think those thermometers can read? Like our house thermometer, if it gets really fucking cold in here, how low do you think it would go?
I mean, it's probably rated for a certain temperature.
Yeah, I don't know what the minimum on it is. However,
Electronics don't work well and freezing cold either, so there would probably become a point where the electronics would just cease to work.
this is a good topic to just show how most of the questions that you're asking are nuanced. It's not just a black and white, hot or cold, pun intended, situation. You have to dive more deeper into these things and not just take the first answer that pops up on Google.
Can you Google the word nuanced and tell me what the first thing is?
It's going to say ghost. I was going somewhere with all that, and I've
Characterized by subtle shades of meaning or expression.
Well, that's wrong. Give me a different one.
there's a
Something
difference
that is nuanced has subtle details that make it complex and interesting.
that you're not like. Are you trying to prove a point by looking up the definition of a fucking word?
I'm just having fun here.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's two completely different things.
Is it?
Anyway, the point that I was making is that Google is lying to you.
Hang on. Between fact and the definition of a word, that's the same thing.
Okay, but she didn't get any facts out of that.
How do you know?
There is more information. So the reason why you get 4 different answers for what is the temperature of space is because it's a nuanced topic. When you ask for the temperature of something, he is correct. In order for something to have a temperature, it has to have like a container. We have a temperature on Earth because we have an atmosphere that holds in the radiation from the sun. Any temperature that you do or do not have is actually created by the heat from the radiation of the sun. So space itself does not produce radiation.
I wasn't talking about. I was
Because
just
if
saying, like,
it was negative 457 degrees in Alaska right now, and you just stood out there, it would not take 18 to 36 hours to freeze to death.
No.
Is our universe not in like a little container?
No,
No.
the universe itself is not.
So it just goes on and on and on and on.
Correct.
Theoretically.
yes.
Didn't Elon Musk send a thingy out in space that poked the edge of our universe?
No,
No.
So people said.
he didn't. No.
And that's the point that I'm making. We use a
Google
lot
it.
of terms. We use a lot of terms and phrases that give like a set end to things. Like,
What if it is though?
what if it is?
What if it is?
There are no theories that support that.
So the one thing that really would finalize an answer to this is they actually do believe there is a particle that we have not figured out how to see or visualize or examine yet in space. They believe gravity itself has a particle. Just don't know how to define it, confine it, measure it yet.
And there's a lot of things in science that are like that. Like the only way that we can see antimatter is by seeing where matter is not in space.
Correct. So they actually do believe there is a medium in space because there are things in space that interact with one another that gravity doesn't even explain how it works.
So basically, what you're saying is there could possibly be a temperature in space.
There could, but we don't know a way to properly measure the temperature of space itself. We can measure the temperature of the radiation coming from the sun, but that isn't space. That's still the temperature of the sun.
Here's one that'll break you.
That's kind of like the point I was trying to get to with what I was going to say. It was like, you said the definition of word. And I was like, but that could be your definition of a word.
No, there is a
Now, hang
definition of a word.
No, because there's people use a different word for all sorts of different
That's
things.
called slang.
Fuck.
Exactly.
That's 37 different definitions.
Fuck is a very nuanced word.
Exactly. There's
But-
no definition
okay.
to words. They can be changed.
If you want to get to that
But
level
in
of
Van's
insanity,
defense, you can never have proof of anything.
if you want to get to that level of
you
insanity,
calling me insane?
This is the guy who just said NASA
Yes.
was wrong.
if you want to get to NASA's wrong all the time.
NASA is wrong a lot.
Everybody's wrong all the time.
Correct.
Which means you could be wrong.
No.
There it is.
There it is.
Here's one for you. What's the speed of light?
Very fast.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Google the speed of light.
I just
While
know
you're
that there's
at
an
it,
equation.
Google the
Oh my God.
the the
Google
pie.
Google.
Google Pie.
the infinite number.
Yes.
No.
According to this, I don't think that's correct because I think they're missing a per second. 299,792,458 meters per second.
Yeah, that sounds about right. However, a question is posed. When you measure the speed of light, the only way you can do that is by bouncing it off of something and then getting it back to you. That's the only way you can measure anything right now. Radar on your car, they shoot your car with a radar. That laser comes back to the radar and says, this is how long it took to get from here to here. It's moving at this speed.
That's why radar guns have to be calibrated regularly.
So what we're measuring is the speed of light from an object to us, which poses the question, what's the speed of light to that object?
Well, can't they just divide it by 2?
No.
No.
I guess not. It would slow, wouldn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
There would be things that affect the speed
Gravity.
of it. Well, even the speed
Gravity
of it,
does affect the speed of light.
it does.
I know. I'm fucking with
Oh,
everybody.
a lot of people don't know that.
There are many factors that affect it as well, like not just
I mean,
gravity.
It would be the same as rolling a ball, waiting for it to roll back to you. There's
Yeah,
things that
it's
affect it. Friction,
going to be a
gravity.
different velocity
Yeah.
Correct.
on its return.
Yeah.
trip.
And one of it's a law. The speed of light is a law. You cannot
I
go
don't
faster
follow
than the
it.
speed of light, supposedly. This is a scientific law
They said the
founded
same thing
by
about sound for a long time.
a very smart person.
Yep, that one's it. I cannot think of the name right now, but the laws of nature, laws of physics, laws of speed. You cannot go faster than the speed of light.
Yeah, but
However-
they said the same thing about sound until they fucking did it.
Well, they went faster than the speed of sound. And then what is there when you go faster than the speed of sound? What happens at the moment you break that barrier?
Fucking loud ass boom.
And a conical shape forms around
Yeah.
whatever is moving at that speed
Like it's
and gives you
penetrating a wall.
visual. Right. It's penetrating a wall, right? So, and there's actually this thing where at a certain speed, if somebody was playing music as they approached you with it, as they went away from you, that music would actually play backwards.
Say that again.
There's a certain speed that once you reach it, if an object was coming towards you, the music would play forwards. And quite literally, as it went past you and left you, the music would play backwards.
I want to see that happen.
There's tests and studies you can actually see if you YouTube that shit.
I'm going to, 'cause I've never
Um,
seen it.
However, we have found a way to break the speed of light in water. So there is in nuclear fission, nuclear power plants, when they activate the nuclear substance underwater, the wave of light emitted from that travels faster than the speed of light in water. And what that means is the speed limit of light changes in different mediums, if you will. So when you get that in water, light actually travels slower through water than it does in air.
Yeah.
This particular substance, when it's activated, sends particles faster than light can travel through water in the water, creating
the
a
aliens get here.
blue glow, which is the effect you get as those particles break the speed of light.
But wouldn't that also be a light?
What?
The glow.
Yeah.
Is the
And this is why science is nuanced.
It's not so much nuance. It's, are you asking the right questions? What is the answer you're actually looking for
Here's
to
a
your
question
Can we
I
all
want
agree?
to pose to you. How fast or how much of that marijuana was there for us to be able to smell a car from behind us
Wow.
that smelled like marijuana?
I
Now
forget,
hold up.
where
That's
were we at?
fucking interesting.
We were in
You smell something behind you as you're moving forward.
Yeah, and the wind wasn't blowing
Washington.
that direction either.
That's
no,
fucking
no, we were in
crazy.
Idaho. We were driving. We had just left Twin Falls like a couple hours before.
Scientifically, mathematically, in order for that to work,
It's like Charlie Brown with a
They
kid.
broke physics.
Stinky
Just that's
kid.
it.
no, the jet stream that they were producing was pushing air forward in front of the vehicle, and it is possible that it was also pulling air from out of the vehicle and then throwing it in front of the vehicle and shooting it behind.
No, they broke physics.
Okay.
They
Charlie
smoked
Brown,
so
stinky
much
kid.
pot, they broke physics.
And it was a minute.
We were like,
They were
wow, it
pretty well
smells like
behind us, and I
pot.
was like, man, that smells like weed. And as they got closer, it got worse, and then as they left, it disappeared. There is the option that we just happen to drive through a cloud of somebody's weed.
No,
right as that
No.
happened.
We need to study this. We need to have a very enclosed space.
I volunteer.
No, you don't. Fucking liar.
I'm not working right now.
You refuse to use marijuana products.
I'm not working right now. Anxiety goes away after a week.
Here's another cool test that was done while we're talking about it. There was somebody who actually developed a vehicle that was propelled by the wind that can actually move faster than the wind can push it.
It's called a kite.
No, it's not called a kite.
Is it a plane?
No, so it's a car and
Is it a plane?
it's got a propeller behind it, no engine, no nothing, and as the wind pushes it forward, the turbine starts to spin, and then it changes the propulsion point of the wind coming into it from its forward propulsion and the gear ratios to actually propel it even faster, meaning this car could move in a vacuum without
So-
any resistance at an infinite speed, constantly speeding up over
If
time.
that's the case, why haven't we made that into a plane type?
Oil companies,
The
man.
government.
I understand that, but there's no like prototype that somebody's just made
Yeah.
of a
Yeah,
plane.
they probably got killed.
It's not a plane. Somebody made the prototype of the car.
No, I'm saying
and
why don't we make a prototype for a plane? Make our own
Veritasium?
fucking company.
Probably.
Veritasium went out into the desert and tried it. And like this is one of the reasons why I like his channel. He's constantly asking questions that are proposed in a different way and challenging physics. And then the
So-
entire physics community loses their shit
Would
and goes
that-
at each other's
Would that
throats.
technically be considered a perpetual motion? Is that the right word?
I don't know.
Based off of what perpetual
I think that was
motion-
one of the arguments that one of the physicists provided was if that's true, then this is a perpetual motion machine.
Well, one of the things that makes a perpetual motion machine makes it impossible for anything to be a perpetual motion machine because it has to be able to initiate its own start.
No, that's not how that works.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
The idea
From my
between-
understanding of the
Google it.
perpetual
The
motion
idea
machine.
behind a perpetual motion machine is that it gives out more than what's put into it.
Yes. You Google it. I'm tired of turning around.
A perpetual motion machine is once in motion, it can work off the mechanics of itself and continue to output more power than was initially put into it.
Then what is it that I am thinking of?
I don't know.
Because I remember reading about it when I was into MC Escher
No.
and why
It-
MC Escher's paintings were physically impossible.
yeah, the idea of perpetual motion is once it's put into motion, it works continuously without ever stopping and continues to produce energy off of the initial that was put into it. There's a fusion machine. I cannot think of
So-
what it is. Hang on. Hang on just a second. There's a fusion machine where they're trying to fuse two particles together to generate electricity. And the entire world freaked out about a year ago because they were able to consistently provide power for 30 seconds off of a single fusion. And the idea with this machine is that you would initiate one essentially explosion, and then it would continue to trigger more of these explosions within this machine indefinitely, creating more and more power to be burned off of this. And they were so excited because they got it to run for 30 seconds.
So I am thinking of a perpetual motion. Say what you were going to say, Ghost.
It's literally what you said. I was going to ask you to repeat what you said so I could tell you were right.
So my understanding of a perpetual motion machine is they are impossible because perpetual motion machines by definition cannot have an external force applied to them in order to begin the process.
To begin the process,
Yes.
Which is what she said.
I don't, that doesn't compute. That would be impossible. Like, to even conceptualize, no. My God. It wouldn't be a thing people are trying to solve because just building the fucking machine would cause that to happen. And people would go, well, this is just a stupid concept in fucking general.
Would you like to read the definition?
Perpetual motion. Perpetual motion is a motion of bodies that continues forever in an perturbed system. A perpetual motion machine is a hypothetical machine that can do work infinitely without an external energy source.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we were talking.
That's what I'm
An
saying.
external energy source.
No,
energy
it's
source
not a
would be
starting
you-
point.
That perpetual motion
That would
itself,
be an external energy
Hang on,
Listen,
source.
hey, listen.
That I'm
perpetual
listening.
motion itself is what you were saying.
Yes,
But
I
we're talking about the
understand.
machine itself.
No.
But what I said was perpetual motion machines are impossible because that little flick of the propeller would be an external
We're
energy
saying
source.
the same thing,
It can't
except
source
for
its own energy.
you are talking about the initial startup of that machine.
Yes.
You are allowed to start a perpetual motion machine, but once it's started, you're not allowed to put any more energy into it, and it needs to continue to run forever.
Who made this law?
Continue
Telling me
researching,
that
and you're
I
going
am
to
allowed
find
to
it.
start it.
You continue looking into it. A perpetual motion machine is allowed to have an ignition source. That is not out of the concept of a perpetual motion machine. It's once it's in motion, you're not allowed to put more energy into it to keep it moving. Therein, getting more energy out of it than you put into it. Just Google, can you start a perpetual motion machine?
A perpetual motion machine of the first kind produces work without the input of energy. It thus violates the first law of thermodynamics, the law of conservation of energy. I understand what you are saying, but I understand that you are talking about a machine that continues to produce its own energy once it's been acted on by an outside force.
That is a perpetual motion machine.
That is not the definition of a perpetual motion machine.
Again, you have not researched deep enough. Anybody who's tried to build a perpetual motion machine, it has a starting point where they load a ball into it. They do this, they do that thing. They start it spinning. And the idea is that it continues using magnetic force, this, that, the other, where it's not pulling energy from anywhere else to continue its motion.
If
What
you
was your
take the
definition?
context of what I just said, a perpetual motion machine of the first kind produces work without the input of energy. That is the perpetual motion machine that I am speaking of.
It's the same. That it would require a starting source. Even loading a magnet with repelling deal, the concept wouldn't exist at all. You realize Schrodinger's cat was literally a remark against theoretical physics when it came to be conceptualized. It was literally made to make fun of them. And it's used improperly today.
This is your version of my Schrodinger's cat.
A perpetual motion machine is a machine that you build. That right there is putting energy into it. Loading it up to where a magnet is sitting over top of another one
Which
and
is why
then
it's
letting
not
go,
possible.
then it wouldn't even be a fucking concept. That would be like, I can't make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich without a peanut butter and jelly or a sandwich. Prove me wrong. God damn it, I'm a fucking genius. Write a book about me.
There are so many concepts in physics and science combined that are like that.
No.
Yes.
Because you're missing a key point that the machine can be built
I am
and
not.
it can be initiated.
You are ignoring an important part of the definition.
The original concept.
That they
Perpetual motion
misspoke.
machine.
It's additional energy once it has started. I'm telling you.
Can we get a fucking scientist?
That's it. I'm going to become a
here's
physicist.
another definition
I'm
of a
co-
perpetual
Nope,
motion
I'm becoming a
machine.
physicist now. We will settle it when I'm done.
Perpetual
Remember
motion.
the conversation we
the
had
action-
about like people on Facebook Marketplace and you know how Van is against pricing and certain things like that. And
This says free here, but then when you open it up, they expound upon that initial posting of free. How dare they?
How did they do this? That's a blatant lie.
It isn't. It
Van
isn't.
knows everything.
I don't know everything. I don't know what your
You
booty hole
have-
smells like, and I don't want to know.
If you have things in physics, you don't just have it doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's not
that's-
its own
hang on.
thing.
We always say 0, but 0 isn't a fucking number.
Well, we also already learned today that space actually does have a temperature. We just can't measure it.
you're stupid.
0 isn't a number.
Now he's just doing the thing he talked about on the thing earlier. We literally just proved that space doesn't have a temperature.
No, we just proved that space does have a
Space
temperature.
does not have a
No,
temperature.
shut up.
The
What
object
we
in which you measure in
proved-
space would have a temperature.
No.
What we proved is that you can measure a space or a temperature in space, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that is the temperature of space.
That's the temperature of the thing you're measuring its temperature of in space.
But we also proved that we don't necessarily have all the we haven't discovered everything to measure the temperature in
Well,
space.
then who's to say that the temperature outside that we measure is actually the fucking temperature?
Now you're just saying stupid shit.
That's not stupid. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Who the fuck says we're humans? I'm just here having thoughts and existing. I exist.
Literally.
How do you know?
I want you to.
That's your comment from like a month ago.
I said,
I want you to shut off for a second and listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth.
Okay.
Every single one of them. All of them.
A perpetual motion machine.
He's not. He's not. He's not doing it. He can't. He literally cannot.
Wait a second.
He can't even right now.
Okay, so for the people who are going to listen in the interim when Van is trying to prove someone else wrong, and I'm not saying at all that Van is incorrect in his analysis of the data,
Theory.
is that when you are talking about perpetual motion machines, the first law of thermodynamics is energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So in order for a perpetual motion machine to be a thing, it has to be able to run off of its own energy source, including the initial spurt of energy. If you push that ball down the slidey thing, that is energy.
I'm giving it my energy.
question.
That means that this is why perpetual motion machines violate the laws of physics, because you have to put that initial point of energy into the machine itself. Building it is
I was
not.
gonna say, hang on. What if I put like an explosion into it?
That's
that
an
I didn't.
outside energy source.
But it's not. I built it into the machine,
it's an outside energy source.
but I built it there.
The
Okay,
machine
but-
itself,
It's part of the
that's
machine.
why
So
perpetual motion machines don't.
You okay?
To
so
get it
you
started.
got an explosion, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
What
an
ignited the
exothermic
explosion?
reaction.
What ignited the explosion?
Well, there's plenty of things that if you put two things together, they'll explode.
And you are putting those two things together. That is you.
No.
Okay, this is where I'm telling you that
Volcanoes just fucking explode. I,
heard,
didn't do it.
I heard what you're saying.
No, you
This
didn't.
is yes, I did. I did. But this is where, if you look deeper into it, I don't know why the fuck you can't find a source that says, when you build a perpetual motion machine, like there's been people for centuries trying to build these machines under
Correct.
the correct formulas that have been set forth in order for one to work. These are why they have failed. These are inventions, and these are the reasons they failed.
I don't need that.
Hang on. In any isolated system, cannot create new energy, law of conservation of energy. As a result, the thermal efficiency, the produced work, power divided by the input heating power cannot be greater than 1. So input, output can't be greater than 1. Put it in, can't come out. That's what you said. I'm correct on that, right? This is where we're missing the fact that you can initiate the start of a non-existent perpetual motion machine by trying to create a perpetual motion machine. You can try to create a machine and then initiate the start of it, but eventually it will lose
Yes.
all the energy you've put into it. It can drag it out over a period of time, but you are allowed to do the initial startup of a perpetual motion machine. You're allowed to pull a spring back. You're allowed to ignite an explosion. You're allowed to push a ball. You can start spinning something. The idea is that initial input power for a perpetual motion machine to work would never leave. It would just continue doing the thing forever, and then you could pull energy out of it without ever putting more into it.
So what you are talking about is actually an infinite efficiency machine.
No.
Yes.
A perpetual motion machine. A machine put into motion that perpetually stays in motion, period. Can I read this next one real quick?
Sure.
Okay. The output power of heat engines is always smaller than the heating power. The rest, than the input heating power. The rest of the heat energy supplied is wasted as heat to the ambient surroundings. The thermal efficiency, therefore, has a maximum given by the Carnot efficiency. The Carnot efficiency.
Carrots.
You got contacts in, baby.
Which is always less than 1. The efficiency of real heat engines is even lower than the Carnot efficiency due to the irreversibility arising from the speed of process, including friction. So all of these perpetual motion machines had an ignition source, had a start of where the energy came from. That's how you build a perpetual motion machine. You have to be able to build one and then initiate its startup. if you didn't do that, the only way you could come up with a perpetual motion machine is if it was fucking God, because it always has been and always will be.
And what I have been saying this entire time is by your definition of by the crux of the definition of a perpetual motion machine, which is why they always say that they cannot be made, is because you would have to be God.
No.
Hold on.
Yes.
They say they can't be made because it will never equal one. Input and output will never be more than one.
Listen. Clearly, we are in a state of an ongoing feud that has been going on for a very, very, very long time since before us. Because if you do a simple Google search and just say, in the laws of perpetual motion, in a perpetual motion machine, can you put in power to start it? The first answer, yes. The second answer, no. Both of them are highlighted. Both of them are Google's tops. So, nobody's going to win here. You can't disprove her. She can't disprove. Well, okay, you can disprove.
I'm going to become a physicist and do it.
Nobody's going to
I'm
believe you.
doing it now.
Hey,
Nobody's
guess
gonna
what?
believe you.
I'm gonna get
can't
my
prove
online
nor
degree through
disprove
Google.
because there's no such thing in physics.
Actually,
Is this going to be another one?
no. I was going to say you are correct.
Don't you fucking lie to me.
There is no such thing as scientific fact.
There is a fact that 0 is not a number.
That's not a fact.
That's not a
It
fact.
is.
That's not a fact.
What is 0?
The absence of things.
So is 0 itself a number then?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's the absence.
It's
of
the
things.
absence of a number.
Okay, we're not doing this because we've already been recording for like 2 hours. On next week's episode,
We'll talk about 0.
don't fucking worry about it. We worry about 0 a little too much.
He's a nice dog.
He was.
I do actually have an argument that I posed the other day that had something to do with this that I do want to throw out here real quick.
About 0?
No, about Ducatis.
Jesus fucking Christ. I love this.
That's fine.
It annoys me to no end when a product manufacturer comes out with the greatest in this blank. Apple does it constantly. They compare themselves to nothing or only themselves. They never compare themselves to anybody else. They never expand upon any other market. Their comparisons are always, we're the best in class of this. An example. In this room right now, I am the best at being the hairiest motherfucker there is.
No one's going to argue that.
Nope. That's my point. But they
Because
spin
that's
it in
the
a
data
way
that
to
you're
the general
looking at.
public. Like if I said that on the air, like say we had a podcast and I said that on the podcast and then it went out for a lot of people to hear, they're going to hear that fact and go, okay.
Okay. hold
However,
on.
but if the market was bigger, right? And I said, I am the best at being the hairiest man in Missouri,
In my native category,
then there would be other people to argue that fact, right?
Yes.
But because I secluded myself to this room, right? And Ducati was like,
that's
God damn it, we're the best in Europe.
it wasn't
That's not.
Ducati, but
You know what I'm talking about.
yes.
Okay. But they're like, we're the best in the European world of racing.
Okay. But
And it's like, okay, but what about the rest of the markets across the world? How do you stack up against Suzuki, Japanese markets, all this? Like, that's great. You're number one in Europe. But I have options outside of Europe. But they tout that as like, the reason you should buy them is because against these other 3 brands, there's not 12 other ones out there. We're the best.
But Ducati's not the one that did that.
Okay, who was it?
Aprilia.
It was
Aprilia, which I'm a fan
And
of their bikes. Aprilia
it
has beautiful bikes.
Wasn't we're the best of blah blah blah. It was data that said we have won the most of these particular races in this particular category is what they said.
I just don't think that should be allowed to be marketing material. That's misleading.
It isn't misleading because they are the one who won the most amount of races in their particular category.
In their specific market.
That's like saying Delilah is the worst shot putter on the planet because she couldn't beat the dude's discus throw.
Correct.
Can we?
No.
Yes.
You're
That is what Aprilia's doing.
no.
In light of this, can we also throw out the fact that Van was also like, oh, when you're buying Ducati, you're just buying a name. They haven't done anything for blah, 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 blah. However, they did win the MotoGP in 2023.
That for the first time in how long?
Not very long.
They are consistently a name in MotoGP. Now, here's what you should be more concerned about in these instances. That Aprilia bike that won all of those races. Well, I was trying to say won and ran. That did all of those races
Was not stock.
is not a stock bike.
No.
That Ducati that won the MotoGP, not
You're
a
not
stock
buying
bike.
that bike.
You're
not buying that bike.
You're not buying that particular
And it's
rider either, because if you were,
Oh, I would.
Wow.
I
I
bought
know
a
a few
Ducati.
that I
I'm
would
gonna go
buy.
race next week in the Grand MotoGP of the world tomorrow, and
You'll
I'm gonna
fucking
place first.
lose.
And then you get there and you're like, but you can almost sue him for that, right? Like, well, you said that.
that is where you should be driving your energy, because everything is going to be categorized.
And my issue isn't just that. It's the fact that they can cherry pick that specific data and
That's
use it.
marketing.
Exactly.
It's not untrue. It isn't untrue. And I, as a human, should have the ability to recognize, oh, this particular information, this data point is only speaking about this category.
You as a human,
and they were very clear on that.
you as a human, you do have that ability. However, there's a human in this room that requires us to be that for them.
It's not nice to talk about Kelly like that.
Let's talk about Ghost.
Hold on. This
Are we
thing,
just the dumb ones of this podcast? What is going on?
yeah, sort of,
What
kind
the
of.
fuck?
Is zero a number?
Hold on.
Sorry.
Zero is not a number. I
Hold
wasn't
on.
asking if it was a number. It's not.
Hold on. The thing you hate most that companies do, you use in your daily work life.
What's that?
We are the top distributor for solar in this area.
Yeah.
Okay.
That-
No.
That is the same thing.
Stop. Because it's not the same thing. I'm not
is.
selling solar to a dude in England saying we're the best in Missouri.
Well, that's because you're not selling in.
I didn't specify on that Google search that I was in fucking America.
Correct.
It just gave me
Correct.
their information.
If
that
it's
they
if
had
it's
about their
neighboring
bike.
or adjacent to, and that market can affect the other market, then yeah, go ahead and plug your market, because then you have a chance to get into that market and dominate that market. Hey, we're already good in this market. We're coming into your market, and based off of our track record, we're gonna do a great job here.
Well, don't you think that's exactly what they were trying to do?
No.
To get their mics over or their bikes over.
They want you to
in
think
the
that you're gonna
Ameri-
buy an award-winning bike
don't
that's
think-
gonna get them first
Actually,
place.
I don't
what
think
you
that is.
do is worse than that, because you're telling these people in Colorado or Illinois that we're the only people who are allowed to sell this particular product in the Midwest. Well, Illinois and Colorado are both adjacent to East Coast markets,
Okay, but they're in the Midwest market.
but they could source from the other market.
Can they though?
Yes. If someone is willing to drive
Are they
out to
willing
their
to pay
location,
that tax that
If they
comes
want
from
to.
those markets?
If they want
If they
to.
want to stick it to the
If
man,
they-
But in our market, we are the best, and they are within our market.
but you are
They're
only
adjacent
the
to the other.
best.
My ass is adjacent to my balls. Does that mean I'm fucking myself all the time?
yes, with each.
Well,
word
you
say.
are, but that's not the reason.
What's 0 divided by 0?
It's
Zero.
zero.
It's another zero.
Exactly.
Zero is
I love how you're
defined.
just on this fucking mountain and you're not going to come down for any other conversation.
What is one number
other than
divided-
zero?
It's what is one number divided by another number? It's this number. It's a definable
What
number.
do computers and calculators use to assign 0?
Zero.
Zero.
N-A-N, not a number.
I've seen zeros on plenty of calculators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do they use to
But if
assign
that's
it?
the case, then -1's not a number.
Oh, yeah.
It technically, by that definition, is not.
Correct.
I love us.
But -1 is a number.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Can you show me -1?
I mean, I can write it out for you.
Show me. -1. I can show you 1.
The amount of your
That's zero.
hang on.
Cut your
That's
finger
zero.
off.
Your net worth.
What?
Your net worth is less than -1.
Probably.
So is yours, motherfucker.
Yeah, I know. She said show it to her. Just
You
look at
didn't
your
show
net
it to me. You
worth.
told me.
You can look in my bank account. There's plenty of negatives in there.
Fucking shouldn't be.
My net worth is more than -1. It's
Wait.
well, it's less than -1.
When you are looking at a category
Kelly.
of data,
You saved
You want
them.
the information in that category of data. They did not tell me that I could only look at the European bike market. What they said was, in this particular category, we take these top spots. Just like you say, in this particular category, the Midwest, we are the best solar company. And then you give reasons, and they gave reasons. They equate.
He don't want to see it.
He doesn't
I
want to
get
see
what
it.
you're. No, I do
This is
get.
cognitive dissonance.
I do get what you're saying, and there are a lot of similarities. The difference is if somebody
When it's
looks
being
up,
applied to you.
if
is the
somebody
difference.
looks up solar companies in Antarctica, Sun Solar is not going to pop up and be like, "We're the best in your market because we're the best in this market." It's like, no, motherfucker, we're probably not going to come out there and install your solar.
But
Okay.
see, she only Googled the bike.
Yeah.
She Googled that company.
that company gave me the information on their specifics in their market because it's an
Okay,
Italian
so you
bike.
also have an issue with this, but you've expanded on it to other categories and why it's a problem to you.
I don't find it to be a problem.
You don't find it to be a problem that they're cherry picking data from a thing that people cannot go out there and purchase?
They gave me the European bike market. Italy is in Europe. Their market would be European
Okay,
bikes.
and if you go into the European bike market, you still can't buy that bike.
Not that particular bike.
Correct.
And actually, the races
Our engineers
that
are
they were-
capable of this, but yours is going to be made out of paper.
Because it has to be legally.
Yes. And I don't remember. I would have to look it up again. But in other articles, they were talking about stock bike over other stock bikes. Not their particular website. I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm just saying, if I owned a business like that, right, where I'm in a market full of other things of the same, and I had the ability to, I would
dildos.
put myself in the rest of the market and show people, like, yeah, we're at the mid grade
the
across the market, but in this one, we are at the top. This is where we put a lot of our
Your
focus and
company
attention.
is still the same.
I am going to pull ancient wisdom at this moment.
This is gonna be
Is
good.
Toothless One going to speak?
Hate the player. Or sorry, don't hate the player. Hate the game.
I ain't mad
Because
at
that's all they're doing is playing the marketing game.
Do what
It's
you
up
got to
to
do, bro.
you as an individual to do your research.
I know where my loyalty lies. It's with Yamaha and Suzuki. Fuck
Why?
Kawasaki.
That isn't even in the same market.
Fuck Kawasaki is an official sponsor of this show.
You should probably not
sponsored.
do that. You should know.
No, it's not Kawasaki. Fuck Kawasaki.
Yeah,
I am
understand.
fuck Kawasaki.
But I bet you there's probably somebody out there who's already got that endorsed and everything.
and if they heard that, they'd be like, you know what? I'm on board with these guys.
That's
Or
why
they'll sue us.
when he said, is an official sponsor of this show, I said, not sponsored.
No, we're not sponsored by anybody other than our listeners,
The entire
which we're still not sponsored by them yet. Please help.
the entire point of that conversation basically all boiled down to it was a lot of words just to say when you are Googling things, make sure you are taking more than just the top spot, like the top answer, and actually use your brain. Don't just let Google make the decision.
And
Can you
maybe
believe
reword
Alyssa
it a
just
couple
called him
times.
stupid?
No, I did not.
She said use your brain like they don't ever do that.
Maybe also reword it a couple times, so because you'll find different answers.
If you use your brain in the Midwest market on the Midwest Google, you'll be the best in
At
your
solar?
seat holding your phone, Googling at that moment.
What if they're not on their phone?
I mean, if that's the category that they're looking for. But if the category that they're looking for is European motorcycles,
All I'm saying,
check out Aprilia. Not sponsored.
Do you say zero? Anything about fucking zero, bitch?
0 is not a
That's
neutral
the
number.
number of listeners that we
Swear to
have.
God.
allowed to do it.
At the fucking end of this.
a tangent for
Although I will say, in Asian culture, 0 is not a thing. They start.
What? Because one person. Okay.
Asians are no.
Well, I guess. I guess the
very-
Earth doesn't revolve around the sun, and the Earth must be flat because people believe
Hey, I saw a
that.
video the other day where the camera had, the
Condensation
Earth was,
on it,
The Earth
and-
was rotating around the camera.
A fun fact.
God damn it! It's true. Birds are fake. Son of a bitch. She got us, babe.
A fun fact. The apparently older, but you can't tell, Chinese lady that I work with is 60 in the United States, but her official age in
6
China
years old?
is 61.
Oh.
Because 0 doesn't exist over there?
But what about all the other
Because
zeros she would have missed?
they
Wouldn't that
count
have
from
added up 6
conception.
more zeros? Wouldn't she be 66?
No, because that's not how their number system
They're just
works.
like, zero's not a number. We'll deal with my age next year when I turn 61. I don't
You
understand.
added 5 years where she didn't even exist
Every 0.
at all.
50,
Yeah, every
40.
zero added to the one. If she's 61 at the actual age of 60, then what about the other zeros she fucking skipped?
That 0 isn't a 0. Ding dong, it's 10.
What?
The 0 at the end of 10, at the end of 20, at the end of 30, at the end of 40.
So
that is
every 10
10
years she becomes 10 years old?
Please fucking help me.
So how old was she when she was alive for 10 of our years?
For 10 of our years, she would have been 11.
That
in
doesn't
China.
make any fucking sense. I don't care how many abracadabracuses you use.
I understand where he's coming from because my brain is fizzled right now.
Well, no, that wouldn't make
Because the
sense.
concept of 0 age does not exist over there because 0 doesn't.
Then do
So
1,
she
2,
starts
skip
at
a
1.
few.
Okay, so what
Hang on. So
Yes.
she starts at 1 instead
They
of
start
0.
at 1.
That's it. She starts at 1.
That's the-
Essentially, they count at the beginning of the year, not the end of the year.
Oh.
That doesn't.
So when
So
you're
this
born,
does.
is
when
year
you're born,
one.
you're 1.
Yes.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Because you're in year 1.
Okay.
And then
That makes sense.
One.
So what about when you're 9? Then
Then
what's
you're
the
9.
next year? 11?
10.
why does 10 not exist for you?
Because it has a 0 and they're
No,
not
they
willing to be
start at
60.
1. They start at 1. 10 is still a number.
10 is still a number.
Okay,
the number 0 doesn't
That's where you
exist.
confused him. That's where you confused him, and my brain went, "What the fuck?" Because you said the 0 doesn't exist. So there's 6. The 0 does exist, but it's not an absolute 0. So whenever you're born, it's 1.
You start
are
at 1. So
Yeah.
they still
Hold on.
turn 60.
Yeah.
They still turn
Yes,
50.
Yes. But she's
Yes.
it's technically.
So they're
over
willing
here-
They
to-
were never 0 years
But
old.
if she was born
They're willing
here,
to
she would
ex-
be 61.
They're willing
Yeah.
to accept the 0 and then the after they've lived for 9 years.
At that point, it's not 0 anymore. It's 10.
I know. But there's still a 0 on the number 10.
Yeah,
Yes, but
not,
that's 10.
the
That's the number.
this does not
the
exist. okay?
character of
All these
0
are gone.
exists.
Okay. I want to see this. Hang on. He just took away his Fruit Loops for this.
Whenever you're born, you're 1.
Uh-huh.
And then you're 2, and then you're 3, and then you're 4. And
Boy,
then 5.
we have some fucking 6-month-old walk up to you and go, how old are you? 1.5. Bull fucking
7.
shit you are, Toothless.
8, 9.
Get rid of that. There's a 0.
No,
10.
10. Now you're 10.
The character of 0 exists.
Oh, okay.
The concept of 0 does not.
So if you take away all of their cereal, they still think they have cereal?
What?
No.
If their bank account hits
0.
0, then they still have $1?
The 0.
Check out our socials, everyone. This has been DFWAI Podcast.
I got something I want to talk
She just
about.
muted my ass.
This is just going to be a long one. Who gives a fuck?
It's not even that long compared
it's
to our
not.
3-hour-long one the other
I
day.
mean,
Where we
how
at
far
now?
are we?
I feel like
2:22.
9
All right,
hours.
so we're almost there.
It does feel like it's been an awful long time.
This has been a good one, though. It's not as funny as the last one, but this one they're going, no, it does. Shut up.
Please send this to your scientist friends.
For the love of God, yes.
Podcast is a perpetual motion machine of stupidity.
If you find a doctor of
They don't
science
exist.
somewhere, we will welcome them into the next one we do like this to really just make them want to kill themselves.
I've got a doctor.
didn't have
He'll
this
make you want to
planned.
kill yourself. By
It's
the
really
end of it.
weird. We're talking about zeros don't exist. In this guy's head, there's no such thing as suicide.
No, I didn't say that.
He doesn't believe in suicide.
I don't believe in
Suicide
suicide.
doesn't exist. He literally has said suicide doesn't exist.
To me.
Yeah, after the fact that I said I don't believe in suicide, and you guys go, "Oh, it's real." Then I started saying suicide doesn't exist.
What did you want to talk about?
It's so minuscule compared to everything that we just talked about. But
But still
Your penis?
important.
no, I said minuscule, not massive.
I know.
I feel really bad about.
I didn't misunderstand that.
So,
I was talking about your penis, not your balls.
hold on. I'm going
hungry.
back from all the perpetual motion shit that we went through. Have some non-existent Fruit Loops. They're shaped like zero. They don't exist.
I can't see it. This is 2.
So essentially, what I wanted to bring up was the fact that like all the rich and famous and like wealthy people are currently building bunkers.
Yes.
Oh God.
No, it's not like conspiracy theory.
They're
I want to
in their
know.
bunker era.
I want to know why. Like, is it just an error that they
Yeah.
got?
No.
Do they know something we don't know? Like,
We
what's
all
going-
know what's going on. I've just been sitting
We
here
just
talking
can't
about
afford
it.
it.
Dude, we're on
Perpetual
the
motion?
verge. No, we're on the verge of the biggest economical collapse the world has ever seen. Not our country,
But what's the
world.
bunker gonna do?
They're going to hide.
They're gonna hide in there. They're filling it with the money that they've had, so that way when the shit does hit the fan, they're good.
Okay. This is it kind of wraps up into, so when people talk about net worth, they're not talking about fluid money. They're talking about the worth of all of the possessions that they have. So one of
Anything in their name.
Dave Ramsey's biggest thing is if you want to build net worth, buy a house. I don't care about net worth. I care about, can I go to my bank account and buy groceries?
No. Currently,
No, currently no, because my net worth is negative $5 million.
Please become a patron, so we can feed our children.
What they're doing
Seriously, though.
is they are turning their liquid money into an object by building a bunker. That bunker will eventually become worth something beyond what it is now. They put $500 million into building this bunker. It's worth whatever $500 million plus the percentage that it gets by existing.
But
is.
when shit hits the fan, they
So
can
when
rent it
shit
out
hits
to
the
other
fan.
people
Are you sure it's not for like
for Fruit Loops.
nuclear war or aliens or
Definitely.
anything?
But that's where the
Aliens.
worth of it comes from. If they're building a nuclear bunker, the worth of it isn't the price that they put into it. It's how much people feel that it needs to be in existence.
So can we build one?
No.
Because we don't have money.
We have a fucking shovel.
Okay, buddy.
You
Where's
can't
our
dig
dig?
deep enough.
Go get Dig Right out here, and then you do what you think you got. I want you to fill in the hole when you're done, please.
I will with concrete.
You do whatever you got to do, bud. And whatever we lose value-wise to our property value when you're done, I'm going to need that back.
Bitch, you ain't ever selling this house. Shut up.
But no, there is impending doom coming. I mean, the market has been inflated and inflated.
I know. I just
And
paid
inflated.
$1,500 for a bike that's taken apart in the middle of winter.
And it's continuing to be inflated as they shut down production lines on this and they stop doing this and they stop producing that. They're just inflating it more. And what that is driving up the price of all these things, which is driving up the need to get financing.
Whenever it's, more available, they don't bring the prices back down.
Correct. Yeah. No, then they want to continue being greedy and profiting off that money and adding cushion. But here's the shit part
They
of
did
it all.
bring the price of eggs back down.
Yeah.
Eggs.
I was so concerned whenever you guys asked me to pick up eggs the other day. I was like, man, because you guys get the crates. I was like, man, this is going to be expensive. Then I got back there and
they're
it was
like
like $5.
$5.
I was like, never mind. I could have got 2.
Middle of what was it, September last year? They were 15.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, fuck.
The problem that we're going to run into here is now we're seeing a lot of layoffs.
Yep.
So there's nobody to pay back these loans. Let me give you an idea of just how bad it's gotten in the last couple of years. Insurance companies are no longer insuring businesses or other things because insurance companies get their money from investors to back up your product. Okay? And the idea there is that if they invest to State Farm has a whole bunch of investors. I pay State Farm for a service that I never use. They get return on that investment. That market has become so unstable that they've gone to other places in the stock market with their money. They've invested their money into other things like CDs of banks instead of insurance companies. So there's local businesses here that have been looking for ways to insure their business for the past 2 years and have been turned down by everybody because they don't have the money to insure their business.
Call the general.
That's
Not a
how
sponsor.
inflated shit is right now.
Sometime.
That is how massively inflated that shit is right now. And all of this money, understand this concept. It is so easy to make $100 off of $1 million, but it's so hard to make 100 off 1,000. If you invest $1,000 into the stock market today, it would take quite a while to get 100 back out of it. If you invested $1 million today, you'd probably have it by noon. The more you have, the more you can get, the more you can make off of it.
Can I get a small loan of $1 million, please?
No.
Yeah.
Because I don't have it. But
Hey,
that's why these guys are collecting so much fucking money. That's why the wealth is where it's at. It's because it's become so easy for these wealthy people to just profit off of their money, and they're literally just taking it from us.
Money, something that literally has no backing anymore.
Yeah, there's nothing backing that dollar. It only has the power that they give it.
We need to go back
Money
to the
is a
gold
social
standard.
construct.
Man, I should have sent you guys something. I think I did send it to you guys, actually.
And people wonder why our generation's like, can the stock market crash now? Can everything just take a shit now? We want the stock market to take a shit.
We want
Now,
everything to take a shit.
not in 5 years from now, because it's going to be worse. The longer they prolong this crash, the worse it's going to be. They inflated it during the worst depression U.S. has ever seen. But this problem isn't just in our country, so get that fucking thought out of your head. It's not because of our government. It's because of the world's politics. It's because of world corporations.
I mean, our government definitely isn't helping.
Well, what are they supposed to do at this point? They're completely underneath of the thumb of the corporations. They put themselves in that position.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're not helping.
No. And there's nothing you can do.
Me?
Any of us.
I know.
Unless we all got together and just said, fuck you, we're done with money. We're going to start farming our own shit. We're going to build our own houses.
Which
we're going
I
to put
actually
solar
had
out
that
here.
conversation
But then you
with
get
somebody.
fined for that, and then they forcibly take your land.
Nope.
If enough people stood up, they don't have jail cells big enough for everybody.
Huh. That's what they said about Area 51.
That's kind of what I had a conversation with somebody about that not
Yeah,
too long
but
ago
we all
about
didn't
how
stand up.
they were like
I
these-
didn't go,
these
did you?
countries in Europe are able to take a stand and riot or
France.
do these things. I'm like, yeah, but they're also quite a bit smaller than us. They're able to collect themselves all together and do these things. It's a little harder for people that are in the United States and
And
like
they-
Canada that are more spread out. They can't reach without using social media.
Which
And
is,
they also don't have the world's largest
corporation.
military.
Yeah.
yeah. That brings
Do
up,
we have the world's
I mean,
largest?
if we could
Yes.
collectively
One of.
band together, the citizens of the United States would be the world's largest.
where do you get
Yes.
most of your news from, Callie?
I don't watch any news.
Where do you get most of your world information from?
Yeah, where
That's
do you
social
learn
media,
from?
I guess.
Which social media
I don't know.
has turned out to be the most reliable for you? I'll tell you mine.
Reliable? I don't think any of them are reliable, but I take a lot of stuff from Facebook and TikTok, but that's all I really get
The second
onto.
one there, TikTok.
Mine's Instagram.
What about yours, Alyssa? Where do you get most of your valid information from? Or the most trustworthy that you believe?
I don't generally believe anything that I see in like a TikTok or on Facebook. I take the information that they're talking about and then I go and search around until I find multiple.
She spends way more time on it than we do.
Yeah.
I don't spend that much time, but I kind of try to find things that coincide with that.
I want
It's not just
firsthand
taking the
experience
first
on
video.
something instead of some reporter's viewpoint. So the most place that I seem to get that without it being written down just directly from the perspective of the person enduring seems to be TikTok. Okay?
But then again, anybody could say anything.
That you can. However, if there's multiple people backing a situation and then you can Google it afterwards and you're like, oh shit, this is fucked, right? Like the Russia incident with Ukraine, there were Russians begging for help because they didn't agree with what their government was doing. I believe that well over what the fucking news was telling me about what Russia was doing and wanted me to hate all Russians, okay? There seems to be this weird coincidence where the U.S. government is all of a sudden, fuck you, China. You put spy balloons over the U.S. Like, really? Spy balloons? You're worried about spy balloons? Like, they can hear you fart through your toilet seat now from across the world. Like, and you think they're using fucking hot air balloons
Chili.
to spy on us? Are you shitting me right now? The amount of satellites overhead that they could literally hack into and zoom in on a fucking ant. You think that they literally sent spy balloons to the U.S. Are
yeah.
you serious?
A balloon is the most nonchalant thing in the world.
Yeah, that's why they all got shot out of the sky, is because you didn't know they were there, right? And then they're like, oh, we got all this AI technology developed in Asian countries, and we can't let China have it.
I just put my foot in your shoe.
We can't let Asia
it
have.
off.
We can't let China have Asian technology. We must ban the sale of this graphics card to them. because AI, we don't want them having it. Are you shitting me right now? They're the ones building it. And okay, cool.
Selling it
TikTok.
to us to where we can't sell it back.
We have to ban TikTok because Chinese spies. Dude,
We
okay.
have our own servers.
We're not the ones who banned TikTok.
They tried.
They tried
They
to ban it
tried,
in
but
the
other
US.
countries did.
Yeah, come on. I think that's pretty obvious what's going on. TikTok is the most open source, least to get you shut down because of what you say. I see more freedom of speech on TikTok than I do any other social media platform across the board.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some pretty offensive shit on TikTok and been like, yep, it's their right. They can say whatever they want on this platform. And it never got pulled down.
And that's why
I've seen
He
some
gets
videos
mad
really
about
easily.
motorcycles saying their opinion.
Okay.
the
So
motorcycle said its opinion.
why would these countries not want that in their deal? Like, yeah, sure, Chinese spies. Okay, fine, whatever. But what are they trying to accomplish there? They already have control over all these other social media sites, what you are and aren't allowed to post. Right?
And I can't
Because
see.
since TikTok is a Chinese company, their censorship laws don't necessarily apply as heavily.
But here's one that's really going to fuck your brain up. TikTok in China is completely different than TikTok everywhere else.
Yeah, because TikTok in China is ran by the
Severely
Chinese government.
censored. Severely censored. One of my Uber riders, Chinese guy, came over here and I was talking about TikTok.
Great,
He
now
goes,
China found him.
He goes, dude, Chinese TikTok, way different platform than what you have over here.
He also said it's great.
It's completely censored. I said, that is so weird that everywhere else it is the least censored social media than in their own country. But all these other countries want to shut it down because they are having trouble controlling. That's why it needs to go. Guys, you got to be out of your goddamn minds if you think Chinese people are walking around their homes going, I can't wait to fuck Karen up tomorrow.
I just got so lost.
Are
There
you shitting
American
me right
people
now?
that are doing that?
American people do it because they've been taught that these people hate them.
no,
the
no.
Chinese-
I'm talking about fucking up Karen.
Oh, the Chinese people don't give a fuck about the American people. They're trying to survive every fucking day, just like you are. They work their asses off. They go home. They eat something for dinner. They feed their fucking children. They play maybe a video game. They go to sleep. They do the same thing the next day.
Maybe if they can get the graphics card.
Anyways, this is an issue between governments and ownership. The people in other countries don't give a fuck about you.
Yes. On that note, it is a government thing. And there's a phrase. It says a house divided. The Chinese government doesn't care if the American people are all on the same page. That's why they don't care about the censorship on the TikTok app. Because if none of us agree with anything and we all hate our government, that gives them a greater opportunity to take over, for lack of a better term.
Is it a house divided, a house conquered?
I don't remember what the exact phrase was. It was an Abraham Lincoln thing.
You'll Google fucking Bane's words, but you won't Google this?
I was asking her because I
come
thought
from
she
the
stopped where
dark.
she stopped because that was just her point. I was
Oh.
wondering if that was the rest of it.
It's just hilarious. I just thought it was funny. Like I said a phrase in the last one, and you're like, you looked up the rest of the actual words to a fucking movie, and then you're like, well, wonder what this is. Let me just ask.
born in the dark.
There it is.
merely adapted to it.
Yeah. But I mean, are you pro anti-China then at
No.
that point?
No.
Okay, then let me clarify that for
Alyssa,
everybody.
Are you pro anti-China?
I'm just pointing out that the way that the government, like the thought process of the government is that their government doesn't care if our people like them or not. Chinese government does not care if the American people like the American government because it benefits the Chinese government. Because if we're not backing our own government, then that gives opportunity.
But
Okay.
then again, our
China.
government's trying to divide us so that we won't.
But
riot
I don't
against
want
them too.
I don't want
So-
China to get it, the Chinese government to get it twisted though. You mean you step onto our property?
We don't
will,
like anyone.
We will all band together immediately against somebody else. We'll be like, get your guns, motherfuckers! They just
They're
stepped on
here."
American soil. Like, don't be sending nobody over here because that's all it would take. I mean, we created a terrorist
A house
organization.
divided cannot stand.
We created a terrorist organization in another country that attacked us,
We need
and then we fucked them up.
with everything that you just said, we need our listeners to understand we don't hate Chinese people.
No.
If you're over here already,
We don't
and
hate
you
anybody.
accidentally
We love
walk through-
everybody.
If
We
you
hate
walk through our
governments.
yard, we're not gonna get our guns and chase you off of them.
And while we can't
But
all
if your
together,
government comes after my government,
no, if your government comes after us, you can blow up our fucking government.
Yeah,
we don't
I was
care.
Just joking.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
just rebuild it better.
It's just don't come over here thinking you're going to take control for freeing us from ours. We're
Yeah.
going to fight back against that pretty quickly, which is amazing to me. It's amazing to me. Russia were to step foot on this land, it'd be everybody. Red, blue states, red states, blue
Green
states,
states.
green states. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your political stance. It'd be like, get my gun. We're
I don't
fucking
have
them
a
up.
gun.
I
Can
got
I
a
borrow
pitchfork.
yours?
Yeah, can I borrow your gun? Yes, you
Are
can,
a
you
felon?
fucking hippie.
Yes, I am. Here you go.
Here is your gun. We're all going out there. But we're like, our government, shit, we should really take them down. I'm too tired.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
It sounds like a lot of
Ask
work.
me again in 20 years whenever it's worse.
Well, that kind of goes back to the proverb about the frog in the boiling pot of water, or the pot
Yeah.
of water like getting brought to boiling. Like if you put a frog in a pot of boiling water, it will know immediately. But if you put a frog in a pot of water and you turn it up so it progressively gets to a boiling point, it
It'll
will be
just
able to
stay.
withstand that water.
It will die in that water, not realizing
Eventually.
it was being boiled.
Yeah.
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 All I'm saying
like
is
if
we
you
need,
put it
like-
out on a rock, it'll slowly dehydrate without
We need a
Not that I've-
mockingjay.
done that, but I've seen dehydrated frogs.
Elaborate.
A mockingjay. A symbol. If we like the Hunger Games.
Boy, I thought
They
you were
didn't
talking
do
about
anything.
the
They didn't
fucking
uprise
mockingbird.
until there was a mockingjay. A symbol.
Is it a mockingbird?
It was just an example.
It's a professional mockingbird.
I'm a professional mockingbird.
I'm just saying, there's so many people trying to be that. Like, all the music I've been hearing lately has been anti-government. All the movements. It doesn't, like, our generation's a little different from the older ones.
Tom McDonald's started.
Where we're just like, we hear some shit and we're like, yeah, you're fucking stupid. I don't care. And it's at what point does it switch over? Either we fix it or it just crumbles to the point where we're like, okay, I'm not tired anymore. I'm tired of your shit. We're doing something about it. Media is turning into it. Is it just going to be a fad? And then it just becomes like a talking point where people just have conversations and that's what it is forever?
Well, I mean, I don't see you getting your gun to go after the government right now.
I feel like, and I hope it's kind of like when the government announced aliens just in the middle of a shitstorm, and everyone was just kind of like, yeah, okay, that we are the boiling water, the water that's in the pot. That the government's
the
just going to
frog.
be so caught off guard by us finally standing up, because the entire last 2 decades have been nothing but people talking about how they're going to stand up against the government, that they let their guard down.
Like, what's going to be the ignition source for that, though?
Probably a collective mental break, because none of us millennials are mentally well.
Correct.
Something's going to spark it, though. There's going to be some sort of event. Watch it
And
be
that's what I
something.
was saying, like,
watch it be something small, like they cancel
American Idol.
no, American Idol or
Stop playing Friends on TV.
what's the
That'll
chick
get a
that was
lot of
like
people.
country and now she's pop and like
Taylor
Dolly
Swift.
Parton.
Taylor Swift.
It's
They
Taylor
cancel
Swift.
a Taylor Swift concert in like New
that
York
would be
City.
it.
She just put out a rock and roll album.
Did she?
What?
They're gonna.
Just so you guys know, that sound was Alyssa doing
Air
air
quotes.
quotation marks.
They're just gonna be like, "Hey guys, we had to pull Taylor Swift off Spotify. That's it. We're done with you,
And
government."
that's how you get Taylor and all her little Swifties.
Yeah,
Not
literally.
that Taylor, the Taylor that I worked with.
She literally boomed an economy in a city just by playing a few shows there.
Really?
Yes, she
She-
has the power.
she
of
made
a
a lot of
Literally
people
turned
go
a
to
lot of
games.
women to football just because
Yeah.
she dated a football
Okay, but
player.
she has
Well, she
control.
also goes to games
So-
and
Yeah.
like people.
What we're
start
gonna
going to
need
games.
is people like her, influencers with her status level. Which could you name?
Come on,
5?
Tay Tay, can you get on our side?
Could
please?
you name 5 that are as powerful as her right now? Taylor Swift,
No one is as powerful.
No.
Maybe Beyonce.
Oprah used to be.
Take that off the list. Oprah is not a thing anymore.
Oof.
Yeah, no.
Look, you've got Taylor Swift for
Oh.
all the little
What's his name? He's always fucking cracked down on his podcasts.
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan would have that kind of power over his followers.
His followers, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a Taylor Swift follower. I don't give a fuck what happens to Taylor Swift. Like, I
Wow.
would care as a person.
Yeah,
like, oh,
like-
that sucks.
We need to get those.
Yeah, I don't want bad things to happen to her, but she's not like on
I
the
got
list
it.
of things I check every day.
every person from every genre that's at that like the top tier. We need to get them all in a room.
Ozzy
get 'em on the
Osbourne,
same
Just
page.
Blow it
Shine
up.
Shine.
Yes.
You know, it would,
And say the government did it.
you know, it would collectively get almost everyone.
Jesus.
Do you know what would collectively get almost everyone? Snoop Dogg.
No, we
Yes.
thought the same thing about Betty White, and everybody just let that one happen. Government
That
cover
was
up.
death. What are you gonna do?
Devastating for the whole country.
The government
People
killed
mourned.
Betty White, and we just let it happen.
And Bob Barker. The
That's
government
it.
didn't
But
do
listen,
that. That
See?
was age.
No, stop
Snoop
it. The
Dogg
government
is Betty
did that.
White.
Snoop Dogg.
Betty
Snoop
White.
Dogg is Betty White.
Betty White was about to talk about what the government's been doing, and like, no, sorry, bitch.
They
broke her
couldn't have
neck.
just, you know.
Honestly, like same
chalked it
level
up to
of
dementia?
Epstein, but like not for what he stood for.
if
but like,
Epstein were a good guy.
like how we all collectively was like, well, he didn't kill himself.
Okay.
But we need that for like a good reason.
We all collectively, we say that, we all collectively feel that way. Have you personally met a single motherfucker that was like, actually, I think he did kill himself?
no.
Have any of you ever met one person that was like, I looked at it, I think he killed himself?
Yeah, me.
No.
He totally killed himself.
That's only because you like to be difficult.
I'm
Different.
I'll argue with
honestly
you for
curious.
10 minutes
No.
just to piss you
May-
off.
like, we're talking to a group of people here that aren't in this room.
If
I'm
we
asking
said,
you
if you
too.
believe Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, go to the right side of the room. If you believe he
Was killed
was
because of
killed,
a government conspiracy.
go to the left side.
Right.
The building will tip
The
to
earth
the left
would flip
side.
onto its side.
Everyone would be on that side.
But that's the question, right?
However,
So we were able to collectively all agree on this thing that, like, holy shit, this is the truth. And we're all collectively agreeing that our government is a bunch of old 80-year-old sweaty ball sacks dipped
but
in
we
shit.
don't all collectively agree about that.
I think we
The Jeffrey
do.
Epstein conspiracy united generations, but there's still old bald fuckers that are being supported by other old bald fuckers.
Have you met
bald
a... have you-
BALLED,
okay.
as in their testicles are disgustingly shriveled.
Have you ever met a person that actually, like, stands behind a government official from our age group? Because I've met people in our age group that's like,
Yes.
Trump, Trump, Trump.
Yes, so have I.
So how do we get everybody collectively on board with one individual then? It's got to be like Jack Black becomes president, right?
I think there has to be a situation.
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop. Everybody know. My mom knows who Snoop Dogg is.
I know you know who's Snoop Dogg, but that doesn't make him qualified just because you know. He
Trump
doesn't.
wasn't
Ain't nobody,
qualified
ain't
either.
nobody fucking qualified.
The reason why Trump was
Have you
such
never
a
seen
popular
Hunger Games?
I don't know that. Like,
He
I
wasn't
just
fucking
don't think
qualified.
Snoop has the following he used to, like Taylor does.
He does.
So do
He's
you
in
want it to
shoe
be Taylor?
commercials, medicine commercials. Either had or fucking
Shaq.
Ludicrous because he's in
Shaq doesn't
fucking
have the
Geico
following.
commercials now.
Like Taylor
Yeah, what the
Swift.
fuck with that?
He's in State Farm.
Like Taylor Swift has a massive following.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are also people who just hate Taylor Swift because she's Taylor Swift. I don't know anyone who. Have you ever met someone who hates Snoop Dogg because he's Snoop Dogg?
Not that I met.
probably
no.
the other gangbangers that
Maybe, yeah.
maybe them.
There's probably a bunch of old white fuckers out here that have nothing good to say
No,
about
that's
him.
because he's black,
Yeah, I
that's
know.
Because he's black.
and it's not because he's Snoop Dogg. I bet
But-
you if he
That's
was
why I
white,
said
they'd
like
know
we
his
need
name
to
and
get
wouldn't
all of
mind him.
these different genres of people that have different followings to agree with each other.
And why do we want
Or blow
one
them up.
particular person? Hang on. I like your idea. We're going places with your idea.
Yes.
Why do we need one person? Why can't we just have a panel of judges?
Oh my god.
Wait a second.
Are you talking about instead of a president?
Instead of a president, we have a panel of presidential power holders. And they all have to agree. And
Elect
they solve everything by
DFWAI
rock, paper,
podcast
scissors.
for
No.
presidents.
Don't do
Fuck
that. It's
that.
not
I
a
ain't
good
got
idea.
time.
A panel of 4 people.
If a
I
dog
won't
can
join
be a
your
governor,
cult.
we can have multiple presidents.
Yes.
There's also a cat.
Yeah.
There's a cat out there.
That does what?
That's
Governor,
the
Mayor.
Mayor, governor.
And they're probably doing a
There's
better
a
job
whole
than
line
anybody ever
of
has.
canine mayoral power.
I'm
Because
just
the
saying.
initial was same episode.
Look,
Yeah.
I came up with this idea a little while
We're
back.
on like the third.
I came up with this little idea a little while back. What we need to do is create like an underground system of women. This is not going in the direction your brain thinks it is. Let me finish.
I'm just confused at this point.
Heavy breathing from Ghost. He's turned on right now. I like where this is going. Are there slaves? No, there's not, buddy. Calm down.
Wrong kind of underground.
All right.
There's no railroad.
My mind literally went, are we going to breed them?
It's like, oh, Jesus.
And that's why it has to be women.
Because they'll create breeders out of men. Oh, my God.
I've seen an anime where men were held
That was
captive.
not anime. That was a hentai
No, this one was an anime.
for you.
Probably.
It was too mild to be hentai.
For you. Anyways,
Probably.
I don't think you should watch anime anymore, though.
For you.
So, I'm a little concerned.
This is my anti-Trump campaign. For you. This is how I get all the younger generations and whatever. All right. Anyway,
That's how you
that
get
was
them
our
to not
generation.
vote for you.
as if.
Get
So
further
Still
away.
our generation.
I think that a female president
You
is
cap him, bro.
is definitely like I wouldn't mind an entire government of purely females. Honestly, at this point, but it can't be somebody selected from, they know this person who knows this person and can get the funding in
We've
order
had
to
this
get
type of
campaign.
conversation.
I know. But like, honest to God, a female in charge.
Get out of the back room.
Can you tell me anywhere in the world that's currently being ran by a
You
woman?
leave my hinterter alone.
What?
Hold on. I'll Google it.
Yes, there is. I can't remember which one.
And how are they doing?
How was Europe doing? With Queen Elizabeth.
The queen doesn't actually have power.
I know. I was just
Barbados is the only republic in the world where both the serving head and
that's why
of
you can't
state
have women
and the
as
head of
leaders.
government are women.
joking. No, that's why we should, because then we could just
Honduras,
chop their heads off.
Honduras and
No, they're
Marshall
hands.
Islands are republics where the female president is the combined head of the state of the government.
Like,
One finger segment at a time.
Yes.
honest to God, throughout my life, being with her, 98%, 99% of the time, she is correct. There have been times where we've gotten into obnoxious arguments where I am right.
Fucking
sure you
perpetual
heard one.
motion machine.
I'm pretty
That's
sure we
one of
all
those
heard
where she was wrong, and that's okay.
No, I'm not.
You
You're
can
both
have
wrong, you're both right.
You sound like their child. You're all right.
stop
Why are you arguing? Is it
stop
my
trying to
fault?
suck her
Fuck
dick.
that, 2 Christmases.
Stop trying to suck her dick. All right, that's not. You won't get a fucking Christmas out
At
of me,
least
buddy.
mine can reach him from over here.
You're just probably gonna be dog shit anyways. She's got cooler ideas.
I'm okay with it. All right. One, quit allowing these lobbyists to campaign certain motherfuckers that are already in the pockets of these sons of bitches. Lobbying is outlawed. Period. End of story. No more lobbying. You get money from any kind of corporation or entity towards your campaign for a favor in return. Fucking prison. Done. We're done with that shit. Okay? Number 2. I don't think there should be any generational connections to you being in service to the people. Period. Grandpa, uncle, nephew, cousin, at this point, best friend.
My
You're
one that I don't
disqualified.
you just trying to get
agree.
me out of it.
Yeah, that's where we had a conversation last time.
I
where
know.
We disagreed.
I'm going through them all.
I disagree.
Okay. I think you're disqualified. Okay.
And you're
Number
wrong.
3, if it doesn't work out better for the people and it benefits corporations, it doesn't go through. Because here's a little tidbit for you. Trickle down economics does work. The problem is the model's upside down. People are at the top of the fucking totem pole. You give them the money, they spend it on products. Corporations get their money.
Yeah.
Yes. When you give it to the corporation, they do not
Distribute.
it.
Stop bitching about the government handing out money to people right now. Okay? Because what they're doing, if you don't get it, they're giving it to the corporations. People threw a fucking fit because the government was like, hey, you know what? We're going to pay off everybody's student loans. Oh, well, I never had to. Well, okay, fine. We'll give it to Ford. Are you fucking stupid?
But that them paying off they're still paying
Ghost
a
has a
corporation.
It sort of goes with this, sort of not, but sort of does. So apparently Walmart just raised their managers' salaries up to $128,000 a year with the possibility of making up to 100% more than that depending on how their store's running. However, they lowered their base pay for stockers and cashiers and everybody else who works underneath them.
Oh, we're Googling it.
No, we're
Remember
not.
to scroll.
Googling. Looks
I was
like
looking up the hours, but the hours on their website are on Google are not correct.
Well,
So that's, I think, where we're going to leave it at. Hopefully you're just as mad at your government as we are and still won't do anything about it because you're tired.
I am pretty tired. I've got a headache now.
yeah, I need to go home.
We still have to unload a motorcycle.
I have
Go
to
pick up my
do
car.
something first.
The fuck you mean you gotta go do something
My
first?
mother has been waiting on food since like an hour and a half into this podcast, and I
Oh.
told my sister I will go get it for her. So I
Well-
have to run and do that.
Well, guess fuck me then, huh?
Just give me.
I'm
like-
also
if you
hungry.
wait a little while, I'll come over and help you guys.
So 3 days from now?
Motherfucker.
If you're worried about your car being up there, we can run up and get your car.
Then I don't have anything to drive back when it's time to come back from dropping it off. It's still on consignment. By the way, my
Oh.
truck's for sale.
I can follow you. I'll go out to Sullivan with you
That-
once we get it
If you
unloaded.
Follow me.
I understand, but your biggest concern seems to be your car just hanging out. Up
No, it's I don't want to be lifting a motorcycle out of a truck at 11 o'clock at night.
It's
only 5.
5. Give me some time to go get my mother's food and come back.
You're going to fucking suck on my toes when we're done.
No, I'm not.
Socials,
You can fuck outta here.
dfwai.podcast@gmail.com. If you want to find anything else, just look it up and you can find it.
No, just we have a link tree
If you
now.
find
Kelly,
anything
were you
else,
Hang
just
on.
don't fucking
Screaming
worry
over
about
an
it.
intercom?
Find our
Indeed, I was.
Jesus
I feel like
Christ.
I'm back in school.
Google.
Or prison.
Linktree.
No, stop.
Don't Google shit. Obviously, we'll get the wrong answers.
Google DFWAI podcast. Something's going to come up. Here,
Is that not
Alyssa's
what I
doing it
just
right
said?
now. No, you didn't. You said at google.com. That was our
At-
Gmail.
I said at gmail.com,
Yep.
and then I said afterwards,
And if you want to find anything else, Google dfwai.com or .podcast
Why
and
is
you'll find it.
episode
I didn't hear that.
25 the one that pops up, Buzzsprout?
If you
What?
just look in there, you'll find a link to our link tree that literally takes you to everything.
Where?
Please.
actually, it's not on there. You'll find it.
Did you
can find
type
other
in
shit.
podcast or did you just type in
Look at how many of the other things pop up. They can fucking
do
find
dot
it.
podcast
they'll
and see
find
what
it.
happens? See, now Google wants us to pay them money to get us where they want us to be.
There's Buzzsprout.
Yeah, that's the exact
So if you click
same
on that,
All of our
podcast.
shit right
or
there.
just type in the
So
word
you
Linktree
literally got to type in
afterwards.
DFWAI dot podcast.
No,
and then,
No,
it's
the
exactly
last
the
one-
same.
The
Oh,
last
really?
one popped up a bunch of shit of our stuff. Facebook,
This is
Instagram,
all
does
ours.
Buzzsprout.
Type in Linktree
YouTube.
afterwards.
You'll find it.
Yeah.
It's there.
Well, I'm asking if you click on the Buzzsprout, can you get to our link tree from there?
Probably
Well, according
fucking
to
not.
this, it's just episode 25 that you can get to.
And then you'll click the name of our podcast. Not that one. Up right. See where it says episode 20, whatever?
Or what?
Oh, not there.
Oh, wow. This sucks ass.
See the big play button?
Okay, up in the top right. Up
Yeah,
in the
click
top
that.
right. Up in the top right.
Oh, okay. Well,
Up in the top right. Up in the top right.
can't load.
Up in the top right.
There's all of our socials.
Yes. You Google us, and then nothing will work.
We haven't,
Hey!
we haven't updated our social thing on Buzzsprout in a while.
Maybe we should do that,
I
huh?
thought it was fine.
I thought it was
I've
fine
worked
too.
on everything else.
Thank you for testing that.
I will tell you, this is DFWAI supported. You can take the first option, assuming you have an Apple product, and access our podcast.
Is your internet browser on an Apple product right now?
No.
Also, it pulls up our
No, I
Facebook
meant
group.
the first one is the Apple.
It brings up our
podcast.
group.
Okay.
Yeah, look right there. Right there. That one. You click on that.
That's the one. Is that our old one or the one I just
It
made?
doesn't fucking matter. No, they'll fucking find it. Look it. Look.
Is that the link tree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Google us, find the Facebook link, and then boom,
Linktree.
everything is there. And now the only excuse you have to not become a part of the system that we've put in place is if you love dirty man feet.
Vans. Feet.
Can you
My
just
dirty
type-
man
Can you
feet.
type in Linktree after that Google search and see what happens? Because most people understand, like Linktree is a very common thing now.
Yep, there it is.
There it is.
See?
What?
Nope, that isn't it. In fact, if you put Linktree behind it,
You're going to get everybody else's Linktree.
you will not get us at all.
Okay, cool. We'll figure that out.
Uh-oh. That's it. Right there. We're at the 3-minute mark, or 3-hour mark, guys. We got to
We're done. All right, bye-bye.
masturbate.
You're done. You're done.
You're done.
You're done. Conversation we had last night. I don't have a problem with it, just as long as it's not on my face.
And we'll save that for next time.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Oh, bye-bye. Ow, my fucking...
sitting right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince.
All my friends, yellow low rider.
It's too fast. How could you even tell what's on? I can tell.
The Mexican government, the Canadian government, the U.S. government.
Anybody else? You just gonna keep talking about that?
Motherfucker, that's what I'm doing. You're a dickhead. Fuck you guys. I was going to do my own thing on the way out.
Absolutely not.
And then on the way into the next one.
No.
And you guys fucked me on
do
it.
We all get to
You know
turns?
what?
I was going to take turns doing a thing like that.
Wow.
We communicated about that the last time, and you did not.
I just
do it
thought we
this
were
time.
all on the same wavelength.
Maybe
and we
you
had
should
to
stop. Maybe you should stop doing
Yeah,
that.
I
assuming.
assumed.
Man, it makes an ass out of
I
you.
assumed.
I
Doesn't
I
make an
assumed
ass
that
out
you
of me.
loved me and accepted me as your God.
No.
Ass-
No, nope.
assume